Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven, aka Storm, and we are back for some more of the Elder Scrolls Online as Reewish, the Mighty Battle Lizard, here in the always wonderful Somerset DLC. Last time we worked on some of the collections, did some side quests, got the Augur of the Obscure. We did actually quite a couple side quests actually. And we're going to continue on with that same process today, get some of the overland stuff done, and probably discover like the locations of some like the public dungeons so we can do those on Fridays. Hey Joe, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us.
Well,
How are you doing today?
Reach nearby. I don't know why you're so intent on sealing them. Linear time is so overrated. Just imagine, you could die before you were even born. Wait, that's horrifying, isn't it? I'm sorry. Never mind.
Gotta love the Augur of the Obscure. You could die before you're even born. Never mind, wait, that's terrifying, I'm sorry. Greetings and salutations, thank you for choosing doom. Grinding in Pokemon or Bleach? Okay, so this is okay, Bleach, that's what I thought. This is a time breach and we're gonna seal it. That's the first one closed. First one of a whole bunch. It'll be well worth it in the end. There's some really cool abilities in the Psijic skill line that makes the time and energy put into doing it worthwhile. I'm also going to see if somebody's fighting this world boss over here. If he is, I might jump in on that action, but if they're not, I'm not going to bother. Since we're in the area, we may as well see if there's a fight going on. There is in fact a fight going on. Let's jump in on this action. Oh, this is also our 100th stream, by the way, so at the end of this episode, I'm going to be attempting to solo a base game world boss in celebration of our 100th stream, so. I almost forgot to mention that today was the 100th stream. Thank you guys for coming out today, especially with this being my 100th stream. I really appreciate everyone who's coming out to watch. Come on. Thanks to the Ring of the Pale Order, I am much harder to kill than I normally would be. Come on. Hey, welcome to the stream. How you feeling? Better, I hope. Completed Welkin Cove. Nice. The battle lizard has gotten significantly stronger. Let's see. D-skill. Dread drop. Lantern of Lies. Yeah, I understand. Is your vision supposed to come back, right? Yeah, that's good. I can't even imagine how scary it has to be to go from having 2 eyes down to just 1 eye. I don't know if, well, you know, I've never known the difference, so it never really, but I can't imagine how scary it has to be to go from seeing out of 2 eyes to seeing out of only 1 eye. I really feel like there should be something out here, but there's not. There's absolutely nothing. Oh, there's a lore book. Never mind. Yeah. Eyes are really touchy. It's like if you got anything like in your eye, it really messes up your vision. I knew somebody who had a nerve incorrectly wrapped on their eye, and they were basically a ticking time bomb, and they would eventually go blind. So. Yeah, nope. I understand. If I ever lost sight in my left eye, I would just, I don't know if I'd even have the strength to get out of bed in the morning, because the. Not much. Welcome, Crest, to the stream. Good to see you. We got a pretty good turnout for my 100th stream. Oh, and M Sharp's here too. Hey, welcome, M Sharp. We are in the land of the High Elves. We are in Somerset. Greetings, comrade. We are out here doing the collectibles.
Oh, you're going to love this one. I'm seeing a tiny island surrounded by... It's either water or cats. Difficult to say. Let's hope it's the cats, eh?
No, it's definitely water. It's definitely not surrounded by cats. Take a drink. People keep on saying, yeah, I am the lizard. And I can swim really, really fast. Let's see, where's that breach at? It's on one of these islands. Yeah. Yeah, I know you said the surgery helped out quite a bit, but it looks like it was the surgery that did this, right? Or at least it was a complication of the surgery, or just bad luck. Alright, yeah, we're not going to try to solo an Abyssal Geyser. As fun as that would probably sound, that's going to just be a pain in the butt, so... We are not gonna... I'm gonna nope right out of that one. Let's see here. Where's our next location? Ah! It's the difficult one. It's Hey Hey. Yep, Hey Hey is always with us. He's plotting our deaths, but, you know, what can we do? Every day he's sitting there clucking while he's plotting how to kill me. That's fair. I don't even think they can do a prosthetic for me, to be honest, because of just one thing and another with my eyesight. Sweet nothings. Kraz. He's in the game and in the chat at the same time, and he just whispered sweet nothings to me. Oh gosh. I'm going to need to take a shower. Oh my, a loot! Now, sir, this is a family-friendly stream. There could be children watching. I doubt it, but there could be children watching. It was a prosthetic cornea, yeah. He has no idea what you're talking about. Everyone can see it, Kraz. It's on the screen. That's Kraz for you. He's teasing to the edge, yes. He's on the edge of insanity. Oh, I need to do this quest, I think. What's up, Minfire? I'm gonna need a Hamilton rendition from Hey Hey.
You will not find them here, alas. Not but puny elves and snow-backed wizards dwell in this place. I am bound for the Whalebone Bridge, and soon's mighty challenge. Join me!
Puny elves? I think you might be confused. Why are you talking like a Nord?
Confused? You sound like that scrawny mage Erudil. My course is plain. I must make my way to the dwelling place of my honored ancestors, to bathe my beard in mead and sing the shield pain song of battle. Make way, or taste sky fall.
Is that Karen? Nope, she's kind of confused. Where can I find this elf girl?
You would have words with that thin-legged sorcerer?
She hiding her beard.
You will find him in the courtyard of the gaudy elf hall up the hill. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an adventure to return to.
Alright, I'll find the Citadel. Good luck. Illumination Academy. Break the enchantment plaguing the Illumination Academy. Let's go ahead and do this quest. Illusions of Grandeur. And I promised Dee I would do another quest today too, so after we do this I'm going to double back and do that quest I promised Dee I would do today, so...
What are you doing? Stop this nonsense right now.
Well, this is not normal.
Unbelievable.
Look at these high elves. And the dark elf. Look at this dude. It's Dorn Ambassador in elf form. Oh my god, yes, it's Rigard in elf form. What's going on here?
Eye of Magnus, another one. That's a very convincing costume. What are you supposed to be? Some gallant hero? Trinimac in disguise? Wait, you're not one of my classmates. You really are a hero, aren't you? Thank Auriel. I need your help.
What gave it away? Was it the fact that I'm a lizard? Because that typically does it. What's going on?
I may have unleashed a powerful enchantment on the Academy. Quite by accident, mind you. There's this book, you see, the Illuminous. I stole just the briefest of peeks. Barely even a peek, honestly. More like a fleeting glimpse.
Fine. What did this book do?
It drove my classmates mad. They were all quite sane before, but now they seem possessed by characters from novels and storybooks. They're snorting like pigs, running from cats. It's lunacy. I have some ideas on how to fix
You can't
this,
hide it.
but I need help.
Alright, I'll help you break this enchantment. I need more details, though. What happened exactly?
When I opened the book, The Illuminous, there was a great flash of light and a low growl. Or maybe a yawn. Like some great beast just woke from a deep sleep. Originally, it was full of dense text. Now, just see for yourself.
Yes, let me see this book.
I set it down over there.
It is completely blank.
You see? It's empty. It's as if the words just scampered off the page. I thought maybe the enchantment rendered the words invisible, so I tried to recover them. I used gazing lenses, Welkin revelation stones, even a bit of lemon juice. Nothing.
Do we need the contents of the book to solve this problem?
I'm not sure. I certainly hope not. The words could be dancing around in oblivion for all I know. We should focus on the enchantment itself. If we manage to loosen its grip on some of my friends, they might be able to provide some clues.
Alright, let's find your friends. Alright. Yeah, this is a huge mess.
Erudial? Oh, what are you still doing here?
Glardier, where in Tamriel have you been?
I told you before, Glardier's gone. Look, you're so plain, Erudial. So boring.
Well, there's no need for that.
At least she's not fused with a bench. So the first time I did this quest, this lady was actually, like, her lower half was, yeah, they scampered off you. Her lower half was actually fused with the bench, so it looked like she was sticking, it looked like she was just sticking up out of the bench. It was really, really weird.
I know she doesn't seem the part, but Glardier's my best friend. She was with me when I opened the Illuminous, and now she's... well, frankly, I don't know what she is. Executing this plan is going to be harder than I thought.
And what is the plan exactly?
Right. Sorry. As far as I can tell, everyone thinks they're a character from some book or another. If we can figure out what persona they've taken on, we can trick them into doing something out of character.
And the enchantment will break?
Maybe. It's a start. You can't expect me to know everything. It's only my 14th year, for Mara's sake. I'll start with Glardier, though I must admit, I have no idea what character she's channeling. You should find some of the others.
Yeah, only his 14th year at school. Ugh. I could barely stand 5 years of college and 12 years of public school. Well, not even public school, homeschool. I mean, I don't think I could do 14 years of college. All right, who am I looking for?
I think I saw Pavo over by the east wall. He was scrounging around on the ground. Tanelwyn was in the lecture garden. Looked like she was interrogating someone. And I heard Selinia yelling from up on the wall. Make sure she doesn't slip.
And that seems early years. Elves, man. Well, yeah. Well, to be fair, these elves only live for 200 years, like, normally. Like, some of them can live for 300, but if they live beyond 300, they're extending their lives by magical means. So, 14 years is still a decent amount of time for an elf. Why did you open the Illuminous in the first place?
Would you believe idle curiosity? No? Fine. I borrowed it from the librarian, Hall, to impress Glardier.
Librarian Camille? What is that? Or Librarian Camille? Only.
The, Library of Shrieking Terror.
So, elves in most fantasy, they either live like close to 1,000 years, or they're immortal unless they're killed. The elves in Elder Scrolls have significantly less lifespans compared to most fantasy elves. So you stole a book from a place called the Library of Shrieking Terror. Really? Seriously? I ought to whop you with my stick.
Borrowed? I was going to put it back. Honestly, I don't even know why we have a Library of Shrieking Terror. This is a school for Ariel's sake. I just wanted to impress Glardir. I thought that if I showed her the book, she'd think more of me.
If this is a school, where are the professors?
Where do you think? Fumbling around like
College after 14 years.
I went straight to the headmaster when I realized what had happened. But when I got there, I found him standing on his desk, swinging a broom around like an orcish cleaver.
If it took hold of your professors, why aren't you affected?
I've been asking myself the same thing. Truthfully, I'm totally unremarkable. Everyone says so. I can't imagine that I have some special quality that rendered me immune.
Maybe you're of a quality you're not aware of.
I suppose it's possible. My mother always said I was special. I've always been very good with jigsaw puzzles. Paper folding, too. Do you think that could have something to do with it?
Should we say I doubt it or maybe? It doesn't really make a difference, but I don't think we can go back and pick the other option. So should we say I doubt it or maybe? Break his heart, I doubt it. So I got one for I doubt it and one for maybe. So somebody wants to punch in with a tiebreaker. We can. Sharps is being a savage. If not, we will roll for it. I got a die around here somewhere. I don't know. He isn't so bright, so maybe. Okay, we'll go with maybe.
Remarkable. Everyone always says I'm so dull. But you see, I've got hidden depths.
Let's see. Can you tell me a little bit about this place?
Yes, of course. Goodness, we've barely even had a chance to speak about it. This is the Illumination Academy, a home for verse, prose, and near-forgotten songs. Our libraries contain all the tales of Somerset. We're caretakers, you might say.
So you're librarians.
Don't be crude. We don't just organize the tales. We study and transcribe them, breathing new life into old stories, songs, plays, novels. We cherish them all. Of course, my classmates are cherishing them a little too much right now.
Yes. What do you focus on?
I focus on lesser-known works, plays mostly. The works of Taldinderil, for instance, they're pretty dense. Lots of hidden narrative, rich subtext, you know. People tend to avoid Taldinderil's work. They think it's...
boring?
I was going to say dry, but yes, boring. They don't know what they're missing. Tales of adventure and follies are fine. But if you really want to get to the heart of the Altmer condition, you won't find better than Taldinderil.
Yeah, but, I mean, if he's boring, I mean, I'm sure there's a reason people avoid him. Hello there.
Won't you help a poor soul like me?
No, only has he been there 14 years, but he studies theater, yes.
Please, my lord, spare a coin for a wretched beggar.
You're not a wretched beggar, you're the victim of an enchantment.
Oh, but I am wretched. Don't you see my filthy fingernails? My oozing sores? I am a victim, it's true, but not of an enchantment. No, I suffer a terrible curse. Do not ask me my name. I have none. All I have is a tale of pride and sorrow.
I think this is a Breton, like a descendant of the Durrani that came back to Somerset with his Durrani forebears. Because there's not supposed to be a lot of Bretons on Somerset, but this guy's definitely a student here. Can you tell me about this tale?
I haven't the heart to speak it aloud. Some cruel scribe committed my woes to paper, but I can't bear to read them. This is no mere fable. It is my life. Read it if you must. Just please spare me the pain of hearing it.
I'll find this story. Let's see. So there's On Minotaurs, Legend of the Ghost Snake, and Beggar Prince. So, which book do you think applies to this individual? If you take the evidence of what he asked us as soon as we met him.
Attention! Class is now in session.
Well, yeah, I know. I know the answer, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to say it. So, Beggar Prince. It's actually a pretty long book. They really wrote that one out. I'm just going to go ahead and read these other ones to add them to the lore library. Pavo.
Have you come for another look at nameless sorrow? Look then.
You have a name. Whittle, the Beggar Prince.
Weedle. A name that breaks even the hardest hearts. Most people don't notice us lowly beggars, let alone learn our names. I thank you for that. But names cannot fill an empty belly. Please, mercy, spare a coin.
Do we give him 69 nice gold, or do we say no, I refuse? I know, that's why I'm asking your opinion. This is, reading the tale wouldn't make a difference. Like, we can read the whole thing, but it's literally like hold on. I'll show you again how big it was. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to be here for probably a good 20 minutes reading through this entire book. But basically, he's a beggar prince. He went around. He was cursed by Namira. So Nimshart wants to give him the money. It's basically a few pennies.
Have you come for another look, Weedle?
If you want me to give the right answers, I can.
Most people don't notice us lowly beggars, let alone learn our names. I thank you for that. But names cannot fill an empty belly. Please, mercy, spare a coin.
Yeah, and I would be, if it was only one book I had to read, it would be a little bit better. If it was one book, it would be a little bit better. But it's going to be like, I think 3 books I have to read through for this, which is one of the reasons why I don't read through the entire books if they're that many pages long, just because it takes forever to get through it. Here's some coins, 69 gold.
Such generosity. Mara bless you.
Yep.
Have you come for another Weedle?
No, I refuse.
Name that breaks even the hardest hearts. Most people don't notice us lowly beggars, let alone learn our names. I thank you for that. But names cannot fill an empty belly. What? No, you can't do that. No mortal can see my wretched state and not be moved to pity. Unless you aren't mortal. It's you, isn't it? Blessed Namira. You've come back to free me from my torment.
What are you talking about?
Oh, great Namira. Sweet prince of decay. I thought I'd never see you again. Please, free me from your gifts. I can't bear them any longer.
Yes, it is I, Daedric Prince Namira. I have decided to reclaim my gifts from you.
Oh, thank you. My gratitude is beyond measure.
I shall release you from my clutches.
Undo what has been done, I beg you. Yes, I feel not much different, actually. What is going on?
He's awake.
That was it? I don't feel cured at all. I feel the same. I'm confused.
That's because you were never diseased at all. You weren't the beggar prince. You're Pavo.
No, No, you must be wrong. Look! I'm covered in rags and sores. Just look at me. Look! Oh. Wait, what am I doing? Who are you?
You were under a powerful illusion enchantment. I'm helping Adil find a way to reverse it.
Erudio. Yes, I remember. My frumpy, boring friend.
For a boring friend.
I should find him. Maybe I can help.
He's in the corner of the courtyard. I'll come with you. And he's still over next to whoever's in the place of Gladiator.
There you are. I have wonderful news. Maybe. The book. It changed.
Yes. What do you mean it changed?
I was examining the book again, trying to see if there was anything I missed. Then, lines of text started appearing on the page right before my eyes.
It helped Pavo remember who he was. Maybe that affected the book.
I know. He just returned. How did you manage it?
I convinced him that a Daedric prince freed him from a terrible curse.
Well, that's oddly specific, but I'm glad my plan worked. It can't be a coincidence. That must be what affected the Illuminus. Just take a look.
Alright, let's take a look at the Illuminus. Illuminus. Such drama, such artistry, each sad scholar cast off their old boring mask and took on new roles. Daring adventurers, tortured scullions, and fabled heroes. But alas, in walked a meddler, a troublesome trickster intent on disrupting the scholar's play. Little did this intruder know what a terrifying fate awaited them. Well, I don't like that setup. That theater, because he is dramatic, yes.
Whatever's taken hold of Gladir is clearly not pleased. I hate to cause her more distress, but I think we should keep freeing my friends.
So what's next?
You saved Pavo. Well done. You should find the others. Perhaps you could help Tanelwyn next. She was interrogating 2 of my fellow students in the lecture garden.
Interrogation, huh?
These seas may be treacherous, but fear not. Even the ocean winds quail at the sight of Captain Wereshark.
Captain Wereshark.
One of you is the thief. I'll crack this case yet.
Hello, Telowin.
Careful there, friend. There's a thief about. One of these 2 scamps is the criminal mastermind behind a half-baked plot to steal a pie. My pie, in fact.
Oh god.
Cut down in its crispy, gooey prime while my back was turned.
You monsters, how could you? It was so young! A pie? Are you a baker?
Oh, goodness
My
no.
pie.
Sure, you recognize the most clever and curvaceous investigator in Tamriel. Clearly you need to read up on my escapades. Some clever writers committed a few to paper. Should be a copy around here somewhere.
I'll find it. The story of Princess Asleld. Clarissa the Pirate Queen. No cheese. Not this one. This isn't Shiagura. This is Investigator Vale and the locked room murder. Investigator, hold on, how long is this? This is a short one, so I'll read through this one. Investigator Vale, the locked room murder. Oh, the room was indeed locked when the murder occurred, Investigator Vale said, bristling dust from her elegant finery. The scullery maid, equally as dusty and looking quite flustered, hurriedly adjusted her apron as she ran out from behind the alchemist's well-stocked shelves. What was going on back here, Investigator? Alchemist Corona said suspiciously. Oh, your feisty little maid was just helping me with my research, Vale said. Pay her no mind. What you should be paying attention to is this half-empty bottle of Wamzu bile. Alchemist Kirill shifted nervously, glancing at the burly town guard, who was watching their exchange with renewed interest. She swallowed and said, What does my old supply room have to do with the death of Grath the banker? He was locked in his own room when he died. Vale dragged a gloved finger across one of the shelves. Yes, the place is rather dusty. You did insist that this particular storage facility hadn't been used in many months. But notice the bottle of Wamzu bile. Most of the dust has been wiped away. And do you know why? Why? The burly guard asked. Val rewarded him with her most dazzling smile. Because, good constable, the banker was already murdered when he locked himself in. He just didn't realize it. Val turned to the alchemist with a triumphant grin. Admit it. You applied generous amounts of the deadly bile to the banker's quill during these past few weeks. You slowly poisoned the poor man. Damn you, Val, the alchemist spat, but I won't let you have the satisfaction of watching them cart me off to the dungeon. Cariel poured the contents of a vial down her throat before the guard could stop her. Her skin turned the color of ash before she slumped to the ground. Your death gives me no satisfaction, Corolla, Val said with regret. Then she perked up, but your sculling mate, on the other hand. Now, where did that little vixen run off to? Oh, you gotta love Investigator Val. Nope, Nancy Drew. Well, Nancy Drew is probably not probably as promiscuous as Investigator Val is. She probably slept with half of Tamriel in her novels.
So, finished reading about my heroic exploits? Impressive, yes?
Yes, there. So you're Investigator Val?
Yes, Investigator Vale at your service. Have a puzzling crime to report? Well, I'll sort out your issue soon enough. First, I need to expose the sticky-fingered pie pilferer. It's clearly one of these two.
Are you sure?
What? Of course I am, silly. I know this seems like an unsolvable crime to the average citizen, but it's really all quite clear to me. Simply put, I'm never wrong.
Do you have any proof?
Proof? Why, of course I have proof. I just want these two to wriggle on the hook a bit longer. I'll reveal the identity of the thief soon enough.
Can I point out something that's clearly obvious on the table? Just like the elephant in the room? There's a pie on the table. Speaking of pie, it's time for cake. Yeah, it's ESO's 7th birthday, so everyone gets cake. Alright, Maya Doran, let's talk to you.
You lay yet more burdens on an already burdened brow?
Was it the stolen pie? No, it wasn't.
Pies. Now off with you before I cast you into the dungeon.
Who stole Investigator Vel's pie?
Pie? I can't trouble myself with such trifling matters. I have a kingdom to look after, and a churlish child to wrangle. I stole no pies. It was clearly the pirate over there. I have no idea how. I never saw the scoundrel leave.
If you never saw the pirate leave, how can you be so sure?
What? You want me to believe that Investigator Vale got this wrong? Ha! Preposterous! The pirate's to blame. Just look at all these crumbs. Only a sloppy mariner would make such a mess.
Crumbs?
Yes? Look, they're everywhere. Leading off into the bushes, it seems. Why that scallywag stole off into the bushes, I don't know. But you can't expect a weary sovereign to understand the mind of a criminal.
There's Karen, found her. Yes. Hernanard?
Avast! Why do you pester me like this nosy wench? I've no use for lubber pies.
If you didn't steal the pie, then who did?
That slippery Breton must have taken it. Believe me, I know a thief when I see one, and that little twerp is guilty as they come. Must be mighty quick, though. I barely took me eyes off the rascal, and these eyes are as sharp as fish hooks, see?
If you were watching the Breton the whole time, is it possible that they're innocent?
No, not possible. Investigator Vale said one of us is guilty, and it weren't me. She's clever as a one-eyed shark, that one. Vale's never wrong. Never!
Did you see anything else unusual before the pie went missing?
I saw a flash of brown fur out of the corner of me eye, quick as a dolphin in the wake. It was heading towards the hedgerow, I think. You don't think the Breton's a werewolf,
Vale
do
did
you?
it. Actually, there's a much more conspicuous person, and Joe, I think you're gonna like smack your forehead when you realize who did it. Let's see here. Lucky. No, it's Hilva. Half-eaten pie. Lucky. Come on, dog. It was me. It was. Yeah, you entered the game world, stole the pie, and made off with it.
Ah, you've arrived just in time to see me expose the pastry thief.
All right, who's the guilty party?
It's quite clear that the guilty party is none other than that pirate there. The Picaroon's testimony, while colorful, included the flavor of the pie, a fact that only someone who tasted it would know. Another puzzling case closed. Impressed?
Not really. I found this near an overstuffed dog.
A dog? Of course. The fur, the crumbs. How could I have missed it? It was so obvious. No, this isn't right. This isn't how the story goes. I am Investigator Vale. I am never wrong. Wait, I hear a name. Who is Tanelwen? I'm so confused.
You're Tanelwen. You were the victim of an enchantment. Iridil is in the courtyard waiting for you.
Yes, I remember now. That damned book, The Illuminous. It's to blame, isn't it? I'll go check on Iridil now. Auriel knows he'll need the help. Thank you, my friend. Being a sultry detective was uncomfortable.
You're welcome. I'll accompany you.
Let's see if Iridil has found a solution.
So we're just gonna leave the other two, thinking that they're a king and a pirate.
Now I'm hungry.
Oh no, that's not good. Get down from there. What are you doing up there? I guess that is a Khajiit.
These decks need swabbing. Get to it!
Welcome aboard, sailor.
They're not our problem. Can I talk to the Khajiit? Nope, you cannot talk to Khajiit.
Another successful rescue? Thank goodness.
I broke the Illuminous's hold on Telewin.
I suspected as much. Perfect. We're clearly onto something. When you rescue someone, new passages appear in the book. It's almost like you're writing a new story. Intriguing, and more than a little unsettling. Just have a look.
Alright, let's take a look. Okay, so let's see. Where did we end off last time? Again and again, the valiant hero barged onto the stage. With dead, sour words, this intruder sapped the players of their strength. At length, these foolish bookworms forgot their roles, slipping back into the dull, predictable routines that can only be laughingly be called real life. Okay, well this is actually becoming a problem.
Glardia's persona seems tied to the Illuminous in a more explicit way than the others, but I still haven't managed to identify her character. We're making progress, though, I think.
So what's next?
Freeing my friends is clearly angering whatever force is driving this. If the Illuminous grows angry enough, maybe the force behind it will reveal itself. How's that for a plan? That wasn't rhetorical. Is this? This is an atrocious plan, isn't it?
We'll see, I guess. Who's next?
Have you found Selinia yet? Check the Academy walls. I thought I saw her up there. It's ironic. She normally hates heights. Get her down and perhaps we can make a bit more headway here.
Alright.
Oh, come on! Jump! It's fun! I want to see if you bounce!
I am. I'll show you.
Don't do it.
Right. I'm not afraid. Hello. Come to join in my adventures? Or maybe you mean to scold me like the mean old workers. I hope not. I could use a new playmate. Torchbug's fun, but a little strange.
Who's Torchbug?
He's my best friend. Just over there, see? He always has the funniest ideas, but sometimes he says things that crinkle my carapace. Still, he's always good for an adventure. Sitting in the mines is so boring.
I see. If he's Torchbug, who are you?
A game! A guessing game! Yes! Here are some hints. I have 8 spindly legs, cute little mandibles, and a thirst for adventure. Stumped? Ha! There's a book that might give you a clue. Must be around here somewhere.
I'll find it. So let's see. Books of choice are The Bright Blade of Captain Castell, Scene 7. Brave Little Scrib. And Netches all around. The correct result is, of course... Hold on, don't sit down. The Brave Little Scrib. And how many pages is it? It's quite a couple. But basically, it's about a scrib who is super brave, and her little friend Torchbug convinces her to do things like jumping off of a waterfall. She's a pony. No, wait, she's a dolphin. So, I'm not even sure how to say that name.
So, can you guess who I am?
Yes, you're the Brave Little Scrib.
Yes, yes, you got it. I am the most
Moaning Myrtle.
adventurer on 8 legs. Nothing scares me. Nothing.
Really, you aren't scared of anything?
Not a thing. Not even those big hairy spiders in the garden. Definitely not those. Scribs aren't afraid of spiders. Not one bit.
I get a feeling you're scared of spiders. You know, she couldn't even jump out of this if she wanted to. There's literally a collision there to prevent somebody from jumping off of that. I wonder what the professor thinks he is. Alright, let's get that spider that's been wandering around over here for like the entire quest so far. There you are. I feel this is really mean. I feel like this is being a little too mean. Like, I wouldn't want somebody, you know, to put a snake near my foot. Oof.
Okay, I've got
not
this.
you again.
And go. Is that a spider? Ah, no, no. It's away
Coggy.
from me. Oh, disgusting creatures.
They're elves, they probably deserved it. Ouch, M-Sharp, that is harsh. She's a wood elf, I mean. She's not even a high elf.
What is going on? It was just a spider.
And besides, nobody deserves to have their phobia turned against them.
This isn't right. I'm brave. I'm brave and fearless, and what happened to me? Where am I? Mara, help me. Were we up on the walls?
Yes, you were under the influence of an illusion enchantment. Iridil sent me to help you.
A Rudil? It was that damned book, wasn't it? The Illuminus? I told him to leave that thing be. Just had to put on a show for Gladir, didn't he? Ugh. Can we continue this closer to the ground? I still feel dizzy.
Sure, Iridil is studying the book in the courtyard below.
You mean he's still fiddling with it? Sans price. We'd best get down there and make sure he doesn't do something foolish.
Alright, I'm right behind you. And are we just going to leave Torchbug up on the walls?
There you are. Gladia's gotten far less cheerful, and the book shifted again. I think things are coming to a head.
What's the situation?
Every time you bring someone back, Gladia's irritation grows. It started out simple enough, sneers and grumbles. But now, she's near to frothing. On top of that, there's another entry in the book. It's... well, just look at it.
Sure, I'll take a look. see, where did we end off last time? Oh yes, eventually the daring playwright grew tired of the hero's meddling. She gazed across a dark and churning sea, the ocean of brooding nightmares upon which only the bravest artists sail. From its inky depths she summoned up horrors beyond imagination. Soon the hero would be consumed. Uh-oh, it's Gladiator.
You. Oh, I've had just about enough of you. My story was perfect. Perfect. And now you've muddled it up. I won't have it. Not anymore.
Enough. Last chance. Who are you?
Oh, such pride. Such braggadocio. You would have made a splendid character in my story if not for your bull-headed meddling. My name is unimportant. The play's the thing. The story. You know it well by now. You've been reading it all along.
So the Illuminous is your story? Yeah, it is really dark.
Yes, and it would have been a far better tale without you in it. Any of you, in fact. You're boring. Ordinary. I need finer muses. The library. Yes, there are splendid books in there. I'll use them to weave a true tale of terror.
Wait, don't move.
You don't deserve this book. It's mine.
Gladiator, wait!
Well, you done messed up, dude, trying to impress her.
She vanished. Oh, of all the luck. Where did she go?
She said she was going to stir up stories in the library.
Well, that is suboptimal. She must be talking about the stacks below the Hall of Illumination. If she means to stir up trouble, there are plenty of stories down there that will let her do just that. You must hurry. Don't let her escape.
Alright, let's head into the library, or to the Academy stacks.
Onward, sailors! What treasures await us?
What are we doing today, Brain? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over Somerset. Well, there are books flying around. I don't know if this is normal, but... Illumination Academy stacks. Each of you resides the divine spark, and thus the record of thy actions stands as a sacred duty. Keep, therefore, each and every one of you an Ugma, and ever... did get to finish that.
Oh, now what is all this mess?
Hello, Maderal.
Oh my, a roguish adventurer. Finally.
Welcome to
Sorry about
Hogwarts.
the mess. I usually keep things so neat. When things get dirty, oh, I get so flustered.
Oh dear, he gets flustered. Right, so what happened in here?
Well, a shapely woman came prancing through. Tousled hair, firm buttocks, and oh, the bosoms. Anyway, the book sprung to life behind her. Toothsome beasts and sweaty, rugged fighters appeared in her wake. Ooh, is it getting hot in here?
Oh my god, who did he become? Any ideas on how I should deal with these illusions?
Oh, I've got plenty of ideas. Oh, wait. You mean to banish them? I'm such a silly thing. The creatures seem bound to their books. If you close a book and slide it back onto the shelf, that might work.
Alright, how will I know when the books go?
Instinct. Raw, untamed instinct.
Oh my god.
If that fails, I suppose you could check the shelves. Maybe some outwardly prudish but secretly lustful archivist labeled them. Just be sure to put the books on the right shelf. These tomes seem very particular.
I don't think he was changed by the illusion. I think it just removed his filter, because it does not seem like he's... That man deserves a slapping. Yeah, like I said, I don't think the illusion changed him. I think it just took away his filter. Well, this is very odd looking. I think he'd quite like that. I think he'd quite like that. Oh god. Oh my, roguish adventure. Oh, good. Are we sure he isn't always like that? He could always be like that. Yeah, I mean, it's fully possible that, because he seemed a lot more coherent than the others of what was going on. What I think happened was it removed the illusion couldn't fully affect him, but it did remove his filter. Because he said he was outwardly prudish but secretly lustful. Alright, let's grab the Forest Dark. It's all about wolves and stuff, so we're going to need to figure out which bookshelf this book goes back on. Trying to remember, there's the bookshelf. Awkward. Okay, so what are our options? So we can return it back to Nature Poetry, Thalmor Treasuries, and I keep getting attacked. Bibliographies, Khajiit Verse, Guides to Conjuration, Yakutin Cartography. I'm fairly certain this is Nature Poetry, so I'm going to return it there. Yakutin is a country that the Red Guards originally came from. The Red Guards used to be called Yakutin. Yakutin was destroyed during the Ansei Wars when basically the emperor of the time of Yakuta wanted to destroy the Sword Saints, the Ansei, and the Ansei fought back, and unfortunately, as a result, Yakutin was destroyed. And so the remainders left Yakuta and sailed to Hammerfell, where they became the Red Guards later on. Yeah, it's known as the Lost Continent. Okay. Let's see, what else? Folklore, romance novels. Pretty sure that's not a romance novel. Imperial History and Nautical Legends, and it goes into Imperial History. I'm sorry, but my job description says I have to interrupt. It's like literally written into my contract. And we don't want to violate the contract, do we? The Truth of Minotaurs.
The hero's fate was sealed.
Okay, and we can put self-improvement, historical fiction, Iliad epic poetry, Eleanorian opera, Eldmeric philosophy, beasts and horrors, naturally. Oh, Gladiator's forcing her out.
You're boring just like the rest. I'll finish this hero myself.
I can't. Is it gone?
Gladiator. It's the truth of minotaurs that they're terrifying? Yeah, they can be terrifying. Moo.
I'm free. Finally. Wait. Where am I?
You're in the Academy stacks. You were possessed, I think.
Yes. I remember now. The creature. It's called the Illuminated One. Feeds on stories, on conflict and drama. The more exciting, the better. I fear all this fighting and chasing and anxiety has just made it stronger.
How can I stop it?
It's grown powerful enough to manifest as a material being. That makes it more dangerous. But it also gives us an opportunity to fight it. If you hunt it down and beat it into submission, it will have no choice but to return to the Illuminus.
I'll handle it. You should flee this place. Let's put an end to this, Illuminated One.
Face me, you talentless hack. You're stone. No, I won't go back. You can't do this. My masterpiece.
Shrieking Tomes, go back to where you belong. May you never see the light of day again. Seriously, put a lock on that damn door. Why do they have a bookshelf full of Shrieking Tomes? Well, they got to keep the Shrieking Tomes somewhere. Kind of makes sense to put them in. It's like the restricted section at Hogwarts. So they can shriek at each other most likely. It's kind of like the restricted section in the Hogwarts library. You know, the books are there. You're just not supposed to be able to access them without permission.
All my classmates and professors are finally coming to their senses. Whatever you did appears to have worked. Did you really defeat this creature? The Illuminated One?
Yes, I drove it back to the Illuminus.
Thank the divines. You know, Gladia finally solved the mystery of why I was spared. The Illuminated One thought I was too boring. Imagine that. I guess it pays to be dull sometimes. And to have strong allies like you. Take care, Caraval.
Farewell, my friend.
Thank you for saving me, friend. I think I've had my fill of drama for a while. Time to curl up with a nice, boring cookbook.
Yep, I feel that completely. After that adventure, I would do the exact same thing. Alright, so... just don't look for Horcruxes, you won't find any. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and leave the Illumination Academy. Like I said, there's another quest that I promised I'd get done today, so we're going to head back to Rillenfield and do that. He was not so special, he became special. I mean, that's kind of like a recurring theme in fantasy, isn't it? Like, you know, the farmer's son who has no special traits at all ends up being overlooked by the barbarian horde, and he becomes special and gets revenge for, you know, burning his village or, you know, destroying their family farm or something like that. That's quite a common trope in fantasy. And this one I will need your guys' help with. This is, I'm going to say up front, there is only one good way to end this quest. There are 3 ways to end this quest, and only one of them is good. There's 4 ways to end this quest. I can end the quest in favor of, that's good for everybody. I can end the quest that's good for one of each of the major players. Or I can end the quest where it screws everybody over. So if you guys want, I can just go ahead and do the quest the best way for everybody, and that way we don't have to try to make decisions and stuff. Or if you guys want to try to see if you can puzzle out how to reach the good ending for everyone, we can do that as well. Go ahead and let me know what you want me to do. So you want me to do it the best way, Joe? Okay. Best way, I guess. Okay, so that's 2. What do you think, Mars G? Or Kraz, if Kraz is still with us. Pretty sure he is. Yeah, he's currently still in Western Skyrim doing stuff. Give it another minute and then we'll move on. So my brother actually took, Joe's already heard of this story, so I apologize in advance, but there's some people here who haven't heard this story yet. So my brother actually took me on a DoorDash run yesterday. He's been working DoorDash for the last couple weeks now. He had an order that was like 11 items big, and he needed an extra set of hands, so he came and asked me to help him out with it, and it was actually kind of interesting. It's like, if I could drive, I probably would do something like that on the side, but I can't drive, so it's kind of a moot point. But it was kind of interesting to, to actually, ride along on a couple of those runs. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this the best way.
Drat! Which one could he possibly be?
Man, I am short.
You there. You're new to Elenthiel, aren't you? You certainly look like an outsider. I regret the necessity, but I must beg your aid. My brother is about to make a terrible mistake and join an appalling organization.
What kind of organization? Cultists? Insurgents?
Worse. An acting troupe. The House of Reveries may be famous across Somerset, but my brother is one of the most gifted academics of our generation. For him to waste his talents performing for rich nobles is just irresponsible.
Where's your brother now?
I fear he's already signed up, and that's why I require you as an ally. I'll need you to infiltrate the acting troupe. Laredale, my brother, knows my face, but he does not know yours. You must find him for me so I can talk him out of this.
Alright, I'll help you find your brother.
Oriel himself would smile on your kindness.
Everyone at this in Somerset.
Now, we haven't a moment to waste. The House of Reveries is hosting auditions this very moment. You must present yourself to Alchemy, the audition master, and impress her with your performance.
So, M-Sharp, the Altmer believe that art is the closest form to divinity. So, artists are worshipped in Somerset. Like, the Altmer literally worship artists because they believe everything they make is a salute to the divines. Just like the way the divines shaped Nirn, they shaping their art is a reference to their ancestors. Yep, it's a living nightmare. I have to audition?
Well, they don't take just anyone. Only the most talented performers even get an audition, but don't worry. I've already devised a solution. I've enchanted a set of knives that will allow you to juggle with perfect rhythm. They would impress anyone.
How do these enchanted knives work?
Oh, it's quite simple, really. Toss one in the air and relax your mind. Your hands will do the rest. I've used them a number of times and never cut myself, and I'm about as coordinated as a drunken mud crab.
Drunken mud crab.
I'm certain you'll impress a sponsor.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Laredale and I have studied magic all of our lives, and have found few who match our skills. I knew it only a matter of time before a great opportunity came along, but even I was shocked when we were invited to join the Sapiarchs.
You're joining the Sapiarchs?
Yes, a rather rare and momentous occasion. You're currently looking at the new assistant to the Sapiarch of Artifice. Not a position to be taken lightly. But how does Laredale react to such incredible news? He runs away to join the theater.
Why did Laredale leave?
I have no idea. He just left a letter saying not to look for him. I suspect it's just nerves. I can't imagine leaving my brother behind to rot here in Relenthiel. I need to find him and help him see reason.
How do you know your brother's here in Relenthiel?
At first I tried to search for him myself, but Laredale is an even more powerful mage than I. He was able to obstruct any spell I cast to find him. I was able to track him here using more mundane means, but it set me back a month.
Why does he want to join the House of Reveries?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what is going through his head right now. For him to even consider wasting his talent on entertaining nobles with parlor tricks, why, it's simply unthinkable.
Are you sure we should stop him?
What, and let this madness continue? No. Laredale is both a mage and researcher of extraordinary talents. He would be of great benefit to Somerset, perhaps even all of Tamriel. I just need to speak with him and I'm sure I'll convince him to leave.
Can you tell me more about the audition process?
From what I understand, it starts with impressing a sponsor. A senior member of the House of Reveries selects applicants who they believe have demonstrated talent. They then train that applicant for a final audition in front of the Grand Maestro.
A final audition?
It determines if you'll be accepted into the troupe or not. Not that you truly need to worry about that. As long as you acquire alchemy as your sponsor and are allowed access to other hopefuls, you should be able to find out where Laredale is.
I have to be sponsored by alchemy?
In this case, alchemy is a mer, not a practice. She's a member of the troupe and sponsor to the current potentials. They all have silly names like that. Banter, serenade, clever. Just another complication in our ever-eventful search.
Alright, let's go talk to alchemy. You know, let's dress up for the occasion. You know, I don't ever dress up that often. Let's dress up for the occasion. I've got just the thing in my... No, wait, no, that's not what I meant to click on, no! There it is. There we go, now we look the part. Now we look the part.
You can do this, Ashala. You can. Oh,
well, I think that's quite enough. Next.
Now, I don't know if they actually move forward or not. If you wait. So I'm actually just going to see if they actually move forward if you wait. The lizard man wants to wear a pretty woman's clothing. Don't judge him. I mean, if Reewish wanted, he could drink from the hiss sap and he could become a woman if he really wanted to. That's one of the cool things about the hist, is that the Argon completely remodify their bodies as they will when they drink from the hist.
Well done. Come, talk. No more auditions for today.
Oh, curses!
Of all the rotten luck.
Someone didn't want to do it. Hey, Alchemy.
My, you certainly do have a talent for juggling. One might almost say your hands work like magic. Tell me, why do you wish to join the House of Reveries?
I want to perform the best in Somerset.
A wonderful answer, but it's not very creative.
So, Time Lord Lizard.
You'll want something more dramatic if you wish to impress the Grand Maestro. Still, I'd be happy to sponsor you for house membership, if you complete my challenge, of course.
What challenge might that be?
When we join the troupe, we abandon our old selves and take an identity reflected in our masks. What unique item suits you, I wonder? A griffin feather? Yes, that would be lovely. Go collect a feather and meet me in front of the Manor of Masks.
What can you tell me about yourself?
Oh, not much, I'm afraid. I have many names, but my true name is spoken only in the dead of night, and only in the softest whispers. I am the daughter of a dragon, and a rather robust Telvanni. I spit fire and turn into a wyvern on the full moon.
Do all members of the House of Reveries make up stories?
Only me, of course. I'm teasing you. I was actually born whole from the earth when a lonely sapiarch cast a spell to create a wife. He was attractive, I'll give him that, but boring, so I left him with a mud pie and ran off to join the theater.
Can't you tell me anything about yourself?
Oh, you're no fun. I'm actually a simple farmer's daughter who learned to mimic voices when I was but a babe. A life of plows and livestock was not for me, sadly, so here I am. Do you understand? We can be anyone here. You can be anyone.
What does a sponsor do exactly?
Why, I put you through your paces. After all, I've deemed you worthy to perform for the Grand Maestro himself. Whether he offers you membership is beyond my ken, but I've never made the mistake of leaving him bored. See that you don't embarrass me.
Very well, Alchemy. What happens if the Grand Master judges me worthy?
You may join us, if you wish. Cast aside your old life, become who you truly wish to be. Live for your art, for the stage, for the sound of applause. But you must never reveal your old identity. It is our only absolute.
Unfortunately, my art is the sound of lightning being cast at my enemies, and my stage is Tamriel, so... And my applause is the sound of people getting to live their lives without fear. Is that why you all wear masks?
Have you happened to meet an artist in Somerset? Had that distinct pleasure? All they care about is fame. But within our troupe, we live only for our passion. To prove that devotion, we rid ourselves of the past and live only for the present.
So you wear masks to show your devotion to your art?
We always wear a mask. To your mother, you are an innocent child. To your lover, a sinful treat. A friend to your companions, a terror to your enemies. But many here find their true selves within their craft, within their passion. I know I have.
Did you ever sponsor a high elf named Lurendil?
Did I? Well, let's see. Have you taken a lover recently? What was their name? Oh, are you in a committed relationship? Or was it a one-night tryst? Did you lift them to the heights of ecstasy or leave them unfulfilled and disappointed?
What does that have to do with anything?
It's a question, isn't it? A personal question like yours, a question one stranger should never ask another in polite company. I have sponsored many in my time with the House of Reveries, just as one once sponsored me. Those names are theirs alone.
Very well, Alchemy. Yes, Time Lord Lizard. So, yeah, all the Argonians can do this, so technically all Argonians are Time Lords. I keep forgetting you can't jump up that. Oh, that's... There we go. Why is she purple? And why is she asking you about sex? She's purple because that's because of alchemy is her name, and alchemical elixirs often end up purple, and it's a mix of blue and red. So, and when you do alchemy, you mix. So that's why her name is alchemy, and her mask reflects her name as alchemy. Why she's asking me about sex is because I asked an incredibly personal question, and she was trying to get a point across that that I shouldn't have asked that question. So she did something extreme to make me realize that that was not the kind of question I should have asked. She's purple because the mask is purple. Yeah, that's not her actual face. That's just a mask. She's not like Dr. Draken from Kim Possible. Used to be true. but then I turned blue.
You've returned intact. How wonderful. I was worried the griffin might have been a bit too much, but I see you're not one to be easily deterred. Good. Tell me, how did you acquire your most lovely feather?
Okay, so this does not matter. This doesn't make a difference. So do we want to make it interesting, or do we want to just be plain boring, middle of the road? Or we can just like, I killed a griffin, or I snuck up after the griffin left its nest and stole a feather, or I challenged a griffin to a game of riddles and took its feather as a prize. I got 1 for riddles. Riddles, just 2 for riddles, so we're going to go with riddles. I challenged the griffin to a game of riddles and took its feather as a prize.
How exciting! That's a story worth repeating, I'd say. Dress it up a bit, add a talking frog or two, and you've got yourself a classic tale of subterfuge and adventure. And with this lovely feather, your mask is complete.
So what do I do now?
Now's the time to don your mask and play the game of boasts. Talk with the other 3 hopefuls, perform together, and then ask each other one question. Your answers must be tales that can wow the crowd, a chance to bond and perfect your act.
Where do I find them?
You'll find the other potentials inside our quarters, the Manor of Masks. We have a talented crop this week, but I'm certain you'll fit right in. Don't forget to wear your mask. We can't force you, of course, but why not get used to it?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not go through those options again. We already did those options. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the mask. Oh, it forced me back into this outfit. Oh, disappointment. Hello, Rendell.
I heard that you were able to procure Alchemy's sponsorship. Excellent. I see you've been given a Hopeful's mask as well. Such a
ugly mask,
quaint
yeah.
practice. Auriel knows our task would be far easier if they weren't a tradition.
How do I recognize your brother? Or how will I recognize your brother?
As twins, we share a striking resemblance, but all Hopefuls wear a mask. Still, I have a suggestion. We were attacked by a griffin when we were little. Laredale pushed me aside to save me and took a wound to his chest. He still has the scar.
Is there any other way I might recognize him?
None come to mind. Say, why don't you take my journal? I've kept numerous notes on my interactions with Laredale, leading up to when he decided to leave for Relenthiel. Perhaps something in there will offer the clues you seek.
I'll give your journal a look and see if I can identify Laredale. Ninth of Morningstar. Laredale has grown more distant as of late. For someone who has been by my side since birth, he's now almost a stranger to me. His interest in our lessons has waned, and for hours he'll go out by himself. He simply tells me he's going for a walk to clear his mind, but I don't believe that's the case. Perhaps my worries are unfounded. He could be training alone, after all. I know his magic exceeds mine, and it could be he's simply grown bored of our shared lessons. I always thought myself the one in need of solitude, but here I am mourning the loss of his company. I'll try to talk to him again tonight. 16th the first seed. I never thought an acting troupe would be so disruptive to my personal studies, but our once peaceful town has been thrown into chaos with their arrival. Day and night, their caravan is surrounded by a crowd. The noise is enough to drive one mad. Worst of all, my brother couldn't be more excited. All he seems to talk about now is their parlor tricks and trite plays. It's downright common for me to catch him holding a conversation with one of the actors. I know my brother is far more congruous than I, but there simply must be limits. I keep telling myself that this will end soon. They're a novelty, and a passing one at that. As soon as they leave town, my brother will return to his studies, I'm sure of it. Second of Rain's hand. Never has my brother shocked me so. I'm near tears with the indignity of it all. I truly am. I'm loath to write such events, but there's no denying my brother's embarrassing actions. Tonight, Laredale came into our study reeking of alcohol and perfume. I've no idea what manner of company he was with beforehand, nor do I want to know. Never before had he displayed such ludicrous behavior, and it was all I could do to even look at his face, covered in shame and smeared with lip paint. He was remorseful, of course, told me that he realized that the repercussions of his actions were unacceptable, and how unacceptable they were. Still, my trust in him wanes even more. First he secludes himself, then he makes friends with riffraff, and now this? Ludicrous, you mean. Sorry, yes, I apologize. I fear I'm losing my brother I once knew, 9th of mid-year. Today I received the most wonderful news. I barely know how to write about it. Even now my fingers tremble in excitement, so much I can barely hold my quill. All our hard work, researching and practicing, all of it's led to this moment. The Sapiarchs have accepted us, both as assistants. I am to aid the Sapiarch of Artifice, and Lyradil has been accepted by the Sapiarch of Thaumaturgy. I can near cry from happiness. I'm so worried that only one of us would be accepted and the other would be left behind. I couldn't bear the thought of parting from my dear brother, but now we don't have to. We can remain together as it's always been. Lyradil was shocked when he heard the news. I see that now. At first I thought it was something akin to fear, but that's just silly. What reason would he have to be frightened? No. It must just be surprised. Apprehension, perhaps, over a great honor being bestowed upon us. This is good. I've tried not to mind it, but Lyradil has been so distant as of late. I understand why he's chosen to live apart from me to conduct his own research. After all, I've always feared I would hold him back, but while we do meet, well, sometimes I barely recognize him, as if he's wearing a mask when we're together. Even now I can feel my chest tightening at the thought. No, I must not think such thoughts. Soon we'll be happy in Lyranthrill, studying together once more. I'll finally be able to catch up, but be his equal once more. Never has such a happy day come. I could finally be with my brother again. So, honestly, I have mixed feelings about all of this. Part of me wants Lyrandel to do what Lyrandel wants to do. Other part of me really recognizes that Rindel is seriously mourning her brother's separation from her. I don't know. It just kind of hits me like right in my heartstrings. I guess it's one of those morally obtuse things. It's one of the reasons why there's only one good way to end this quest. So during this quest, I'm going to have to pick certain things, and if I don't pick those certain things, the good ending will not happen. So, but there's some things that will not matter, and I'll let you guys pick when it doesn't matter. But since you guys want the good ending, I will push us through to the good ending. So. Firebird! My friend, it's so good to see you again.
Welcome, fellow hopeful. What's your talent? Ventriloquism? Dancing? Oh, are you one of those illusionists I've heard so much about? No matter. You're here to play the game of boasts, aren't you? First, we must perform together.
How do we play this game of boast?
Alchemy didn't explain it. Well, I'm happy to share. First, we must perform as a team, so we can learn each other's strengths and weaknesses. Should we both be lucky enough to join the troupe, we'll already know how to put on a performance.
What type of performance?
Well, let's start simple, shall we? I'll do what I do, and you'll do what you do. Join me, and we'll see what we can do together. After that comes the fun part, the boasts. Well, that's the part I consider most fun.
Go ahead, I'll follow your lead. You know, there are books right behind you, friend. Firebird.
That was impressive. You've got quite the talent for juggling. Never could I do that myself. Tried it once and nearly sliced off a finger. Now to the questions. I'll start. Tell me, my deft-fingered friend, where did you grow up?
Okay, so we got three options. I grew up on a ship at sea. I lived in a barrel until I was 8. I was raised in Cold Harbor by Moloch Ball himself. I used to play hide-and-seek with his nephew. Or I'm actually the long-lost child of Vivek. I grew up in a rock floating above the sky. Oh, I grew up on Bondar. Oh, gosh. So, which option should we go with? So, got one for Cold Harbor. Let me get some water real quick. Got 2 for Cold Harbor. So I was raised in Cold Harbor by Molag Bal himself. I used to play hide and seek with his nephew.
Hide and seek in Cold Harbor, eh? That sounds terrifying. But I love the idea
I want to see
of
Molag
Lord
Bal's nephew.
Ball having a nephew. Maybe he's not so bad. Just consumes the occasional tortured soul between fishing trips. All right, your turn. Ask me anything.
Do you have any siblings?
Oh, yes. All 6 of them. I grew up with a pack of wolves, you see. Lost my parents to a griffin attack when I was 2. But Mama took me in and taught me to hunt and fetch sticks. We still get together and hunt deer every other week.
Do you have any sisters?
Hold on. That's 2 questions, isn't it? You only get 1. But here's a truth to match my boast. The House of Reveries is amazing. Performing every day, learning new tricks. Why, I used to have to sneak away every time I wanted to practice.
Why did you have to practice in secret?
Oh, you know how family is. If your ancestors weren't fire breathers, why would you want to be? Well, I wish you the best in your audition for the Grand Maestro. Here's hoping we both get in. Honestly, nothing would please me more.
Take care, Firebird. Now we're going to talk to Clever. Hello, Clever.
Well, hello there. Good to see another hopeful join us. Would you like to help me with my performance?
Are you drunk?
I always get a bit drunk before a performance. Helps loosen up the muscles. You know, swallowing a sword isn't as easy as it looks. There's always the danger it might cut you. A good brew helps my performance and helps me relax.
Do you want me to juggle while you swallow a sword?
I don't need a juggler. I need an announcer. Someone to sell my act. One thing about swallowing a sword, you can't talk when you do it, which means no one knows how amazing I am. So, how about it? Build me up during my act.
Alright, what do you need me to do?
Just stand at that podium like we're up on stage. Then use your best announcer voice and talk me up to the crowd. Tell them there's no one half so clever as Clever, and that they've never seen anyone like me.
Alright, I'll announce your performance. The podium is used by the announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, behold today's next performer, Clever! Continue. So we have 3 options. Never before have you witnessed such feats of physical dexterity. Today you will witness a show unlike any other, or watch, she's gonna swallow a sword! Top 1. Okay, I got 1 for the top 1. She almost fell over. The third solution sounds like something you say when you have been up for 70 hours. Yes. So we got 2 for the top. So never before have you witnessed such feats of physical dexterity. And now we got 1 more. The razor-sharp blade is no match for our brave performer. How does she do it? 1 wrong move, 1 ill-timed swallow, and the blade will cut right through her heart. Let's hope she doesn't sneeze. Oh, God. I forgot about that one. So which one, guys? Number 3 for M Sharp, 2 for Joe. Okay, so we got a tiebreaker. So if we get another vote, we'll go with it. If not, I will roll to see. And then she collapses. Not 2, 1. Okay, so I got 1 for 1, 1 for 3, and so we need a tiebreaker or I need to roll. So. Oh, poor M Sharp. Let's hope she doesn't sneeze. Alright, let's roll it. So, okay, so we're rolling. Okay, so we're going to roll odd for M Sharp and even for Joe. And it's even, so we're going to go with Joe's option, which is this razor sharp blade is no match for our brave performer. How does she do it? Continue. What amazing physical acumen have you ever seen a performance so impressive? And yet she makes this dangerous blade look no more dangerous than a soft carrot. Amazing. She's going to pull the blade out now. Watch. Which one are we going with, guys? Oh, that looks really uncomfortable. Got 1 for 1. Is that a 2 M Sharp or is that a... Okay, that's a 1. So 2 for 1. So what amazing physical acronym. Oh yeah, I know. It looks really painful, doesn't it? What amazing physical acronym. Have you ever seen such a performance so impressive? An astounding performance. Let's give her a hand. Clever.
You've got a great voice. I almost worry you might have oversold me. Now to the game. Maybe it's the alcohol talking, but you're a fine-looking one, aren't you? Got someone special waiting at home? Tell me. I'm curious.
Okay, so we have 3 options. I'm married. I'm married quite happily to a sea elf captain from Fendolia. I'm promised to Meridia herself. I never cheat on a Daedric prince, or I'm absolutely unattached, want to go out. I've never seen that option before. Is that not an option for a female character? She yanked that out. Huh. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that 3rd option before. Hold on. Don't ask her out. She didn't pull that out. She yanked it out. Don't ask her out. Those Meridia curves be doing things to the lizard man. So I'm guessing that's 1 vote for Meridia there, M Sharp. Yeah, so we got 1 for Meridia. I've got 1 for do not ask her out. So 3 is 3 has been vetoed. Yeah, no, I guess it was there. I just never saw it before. You got an option, Joe? Okay, so we will go with, I'm promised to Meridia herself. I never cheat on a Daedric prince.
Oh, Meridia. She's always been my favorite, let me tell you. Make sure to tell her I told you that, eh? Put me on her good side for once. Now then, what's your question? What would you like to know about Clever?
Do you have a sister?
Do I? What? Well, that's just rude, isn't it? What, I'm not enough of a mer for you? I'll have you know I'm more than enough for anyone. I'm teasing, silly. I know what you meant, but no, I have no siblings. The troop shall be my...
They're high elves, M Sharp. They're really, really that gullible, or that bad at hiding sarcasm. Only crazy chicks have shoved swords down her throat. Yeah, you don't want... Well, I don't know. Naryu's pretty good with her blades, but I don't think she swallows her blades. Besides, everyone knows that Reewish is saving himself for Naryu. Have you gotten close to the other members then?
Very much so. Why, the first day I was here, Larkson gave me one of her very own dresses. Said it was a shame I didn't have anything decent to wear. I near cried. It was so beautiful. Everyone here is just so kind.
Good luck with your audition, Clever.
Same you. Gorgeous. Oh, I just can't wait until we're all accepted. I heard the ceremony afterward is spectacular. Lots of food, lots of drink. You get to try on all sorts of perfumes and fine clothes. Oh, what an amazing night it shall be.
There's Feathermoth. How are you doing, Feathermoth?
You must know, we are competing for the same post. Let me be clear then, in stating that I do not intend to fail my audition. I will join the House of Reveries. It is my destiny. Still, collaboration never hurts. Care to play the game?
We'll perform together. What do you have in mind?
Even the most captivating of dances cannot entice an audience without the rhythm of a drum. The soothing sound of drum beats is primal, a reminder of our deepest selves. Yet I cannot drum and dance at the same time, so why not collaborate?
All right, what do I need to do?
Take this drum. 3 rhythm sections lie before you, fast, medium, and slow. I will move through the dances, I know, and you will match my speed on the drum.
It's like Spock.
Match my speed, and we shall impress. Drum too fast or too slow, and we start over.
All right, I'll drum for your performance. All right, so that is a slow Dunmer rhythm.
No, that won't do. Let us begin again. Observe my movements and match my speed.
I could have sworn that was a slow Dunmer rhythm.
No, that won't do. Let us begin again. Observe my movements and match my speed. Let's begin. And we transition.
Yeah, now there's the Dunmer dance.
And again. Keep time. Our performance aligns. Impressive. Come, speak.
Can I get up on the... I can, okay.
Your rhythm could use refinement, but I salute your determination. May the best performer join the House of Reveries and become a great name. And now to my question. Who trained you?
Alright, so we got 3 choices. I trained with the Dragon Priest at the Throat of the World. I learned juggling from King Faharzard himself. He has a few hobbies. No one trained me. I emerged from the womb already juggling knives. Well, I didn't actually emerge from the womb, so, I mean, I'm a lizard. I hatched from an egg, so... That's even funnier because I hatched from an egg. Alright, so no one trained me. I emerged from the womb already juggling knives, even though I hatched from an egg because I'm a lizard.
That is quite the image, I'll admit. A more amusing tale than I've heard from others, and for that I offer my admiration. Now, what would you know of the greatest dancer on Somerset? What question do you have for me?
Do you have a sister?
Aye, 2 siblings, though only one is a sister. Joan and Jode are my twins, and on the nights when the shadow covers the moon, we dance together in the sky above. The thunder you hear on a stormy night, that's us, dancing across the clouds.
That's quite the boast.
You think so? I've been practicing my acting skills as well, you know. One never knows what performance he'll have to do next. These days are a far cry from what I was doing. I still have burns from failed fire spells, you know.
You were a mage? Drag on!
I'd rather not speak of it. The stage is where I belong, and where I finally am. My past is in the past, and there it shall remain. Thank you for performing with me. Should we both be accepted, I'm glad to know I'll be in fine company.
Good luck with your audition. Here's your drum pack. Alright, so now we shall go speak to Rindal. Now, this is set up in such a way that any one of them could be suspect to be Lyrindal. Because Clever's drunk, Firebird snuck away from his family to practice, and Feathermoth was a mage. So all 3 of them have the potential to be Lyrindal. But you shall see in a moment that what is actually suspected. And also, lizards probably shouldn't be dropping from that height. Oh, hello, Alchemy.
I know who you seek, Hopeful, but you will not find Fair Renide here. She has departed for the moment, which means we can speak freely of
You'll
your
understand
quest
in
to
just a
find her
moment, Joe.
brother Laredale. You wish to stop him from joining the House of Reveries.
Rindel believes the Sapiarchs need Laredale's talents.
I'm well aware of what she believes. I wonder, though, if either of you have ever considered what Laredale wants. Do you truly wish to force Laredale onto a path he does not wish to walk?
Every person should be allowed.
Serves the Sapiarchs?
Every person should be allowed to choose their own path.
Well, then I'm confused. If you believe this, why help her track down her brother? Laredale has made his wishes clear. Why not respect them? I know Renaid loves her brother and believes she knows what is best, but his course is not hers to guide.
Will you let Rindel speak to her brother?
Only if he wishes to speak to her. Right now he does not. Yet I'll admit to a moment of professional curiosity. You have played the game of boasts with the other hopefuls. Which of them do you believe is Laredale? Is he Firebird in disguise?
He's not Firebird.
I see. Is it clever, then? Do not be too quick to answer. When you join the House of Reveries, you leave behind all your former identity. For some, this includes the gender they were once known as. So tell me, is Laredale clever?
Altmer are just like Argonians. Altmer have the ability to change their genders. So it is completely possible that Lorindel might not be a brother anymore. So no, Lorindel's not clever.
Feathermoth, then? Think carefully of all you know about Laredale. All Renaid has told you and all you have read in her journal. Yes, I am aware of the journal as well. Is Feathermoth the mer you both
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. That's 1,000 points for you, Joe. It's not Feathermoth either.
An interesting opinion. Do you believe Renaid is incorrect in her assumption that Laredale is here? Could she be mistaken that her brother is among the hopefuls seeking to join our house?
No, I believe you're Larendel in disguise.
What? I can't imagine what would have put that thought into your mind. Regardless, you must ask Renaid to give up her search. Laredale has chosen his path and will not be dissuaded from walking it. He loves her, but her path is hers alone.
I don't think Rindel will be dissuaded.
Then tell her this truth, as it was told to me. Laredale has always envied her talent with magic. That envy is why he left, and why he wishes never to see her again. The truth is harsh, but it is my hope it will free Renaid to follow her dreams.
I'll tell Renaid what you told me.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, the Grand Maestro is gathering our hopefuls in the amphitheater for their final audition. I would prefer you not attend. We have played our game, but there is no place here for a juggler using magic daggers.
Which is funny because actually during the New Life Festival, the player character can show off skill with juggling and other skills that rivals anyone at the House of Revelry. So I'm actually surprised that we had to use them. So jealousy is not a good look. No, it's not.
Oh, hello. Sorry for wandering away. I've been so worried about finding my brother, I thought I'd take a moment to just breathe. I always find the sea so calming. How goes your search? Were you able to discover which of the hopefuls is Laredale?
First, I have a message for you from Alchemy.
Oh, drat. I was hoping she wouldn't discover you. She's a mage, you know. We recognize our own, and magic comes off her in waves powerful enough that even a blind novice would notice. Well, what did she say?
She said Laredale left because he envies you. He doesn't want to speak with you.
But that's ridiculous. Laredale and I, we've always been together. The only time we were apart were the 3 minutes between when I was born and he was. No, that's ludicrous. Laredale never envied me. He was better than me. Alchemy is lying to you.
She said Laredale should choose his own path. She asked us to let him do that.
Absolutely not. Can you imagine one of the top mages of our generation doing parlor tricks for wine-gobbling nobles? It would be a crime against Somerset. No, we must bring him to his senses. Tell me, what name has he taken here?
I believe he's Alchemy.
What? You believe Laredale is Alchemy in disguise? No, that's ridiculous. Alchemy has clearly been in the House of Reveries for some time, and Laredale only recently applied. I'll simply reveal the performers with magic. He'll have to leave then.
You really force your brother to join the Sapiarchs against his wishes?
This is bigger than desires, and joining the Sapiarchs isn't just my dream. It was once Laradel's too. We both longed to study magic with the best in Somerset, and he's just forgotten. As his sister, as one who loves him, I must remind him.
You plan to use a spell to unmask Luridel during his performance?
Yes. Once his identity is revealed to all, the House of Reveries cannot allow him to join. That is their requirement, is it not? To keep their identity secret? Once the spell they've cast on him is broken, I'm certain Laradel will leave with me.
Alchemy, you really let this go way too far. We gotta go warn Alchemy. Alchemy, we have a problem.
I seem to recall asking you not to come. I'm sorry, but I can't allow you to take the stage. I'll publicly withdraw my sponsorship if I have to. However, is everything with Renide all right? Did you come here to tell me something?
Redile plans to unmask your hopefuls during their performance.
She what? Why, that stubborn, unrelenting... Oh, no. We can't cancel, and I can't allow my hopefuls to be unmasked. It would ruin them. Please, take the stage. I know some magic. I can use it to redirect Renide's spell to unmask you and only you.
Cast your spell. I'll take the stage and protect your hopefuls. I'm trying to remember which one that wanted me to do first.
May the audition begin. You dare unmask our hopefuls? Simply unforgivable. You are henceforth banished from Relenthir. Return and your freedom shall be forfeit.
You! How could you? You betrayed me.
Leave our sacred stage at once, before I have you wrapped in chains.
Oh yeah, the clowns are gonna wrap somebody in chains. That's gonna be hilarious. Clever.
Lorcan's bits. Did that drab-looking mage really just try to unmask me? Oh, the nerve.
I don't really understand, but did you just save us from being unmasked? I can't believe you would sacrifice yourself like that. My friend, thank you.
It's nothing, Feathermoth.
Did that mage really plan to unmask us? Why in Mara's name would she do such a thing? We've all worked so hard for this day.
Let's go talk to Alchemy. Oh, I forgot Alchemy's upstairs. Yep, upset.
Has she left? Has Renide departed for Lilandro?
I don't know if she's left Renanthil yet.
Did I do the right thing? Was it right to lie to her about who I was? What if she never forgives me?
So you are Larendel in disguise.
I suppose there's no denying that now. Though I'd ask you, please, don't share it with the others. When I joined the House of Reveries over a year ago, I gave up being Laradel. I am Alchemy, but my sister, well, she had other plans for me.
Why lie to her?
We're twins. We've always been together. But while she loves studying and solitude, I hate it. I love crowds and people and noise. To join the stuffy Sapiarchs, there's no greater punishment. Yet Renide craves it. How could I take her dream away?
How would you take her dream away?
She needs us together. If I refuse to join the Sapiarchs and tell her I want to stay here, she'll give up her dream. She'll sacrifice her happiness for mine and be miserable. I can't do that to her. I'm lost. What should I do?
Should I tell her?
Tell you who you are and why you can't leave. She'll understand.
Will she? I'm terrified she won't, but you're right. Allowing her to think I envy her magic, that I don't want to be with her, that's far worse. Please keep her from leaving. I'll join you after I collect myself.
And like I said, this is the only way this ends well. So any other way, and one of the two sisters stop talking to each other forever, or the hopeful, or the hopefuls lose their place in the theater. I'm not sure how Blackwood is going to handle that when they do the quest, because Alchemy and her hopefuls are supposed to show up during Blackwood. I'm not sure how they intend to handle that if you unmask the hopefuls. But I don't want to try it. I can't screw these people over like that.
Come to gloat over my misfortune? Or does Alchemy simply want to make sure I leave town? No matter. Neither of you need worry about me any longer. My brother wants nothing to do with me, and I'll respect that. I depart for Lilandril today.
Please don't leave yet. Alchemy wants to speak to you about Larendel.
Why now, after everything? Fine. I'll listen, if only to give her a piece of my mind for keeping my brother from me. If Larendel is truly set upon joining the House of Reveries, he should have told me instead of running away. I deserve a goodbye.
She'll be along shortly.
I don't understand any of this, but I do know you involved yourself in a matter that you had no need to. And I suppose you were trying to help. That deserves some recompense. Take this for your efforts. I won't trouble you again.
Complete quest.
Renard, wait. We must speak. If you wish to speak on Laredel's behalf, speak. I have no time for games. I must apologize, Renard. I wasn't honest with you. Laredel never envied your ability with magic. He feared you wouldn't join the Sapiarchs if he insisted on remaining here. How can I believe a word you say? If Laredel truly believed that, he would speak to me himself. I am speaking with you, Rinny. Laredel? But how? I've been a member for over a year now, and I should never have lied to you. I feared... Well, what I feared doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to tell you the truth, all of it. You had best do so at once, little brother. Little sister? If this is truly what you wanted, why not just tell me? All I want is for you to be happy. Then perhaps we can both be happy now, even if we must.
Not crying, you're crying.
But first, let us sit by the sea. I feel like there's much for us to talk about. I must talk with my sister, but feel free to visit me in the Manor of Masks. I'd love to have a chat any time.
I'm not crying, you're crying, Joe. It always makes me tear up. Now, I actually have never gone up there to see if she actually has anything to say, so I'm actually going to go up there and see if she has anything to say. Now, one of the pluses to this ending is that if you achieve this ending, Alchemy will actually stand up for you at one point during this quest line, which she will not do if you screw her over. Nope, she's not here. I'll have to... Oh, there she is.
Well, if it isn't my little sneak, here to bother your old mentor? Not that I mind your company, of course.
How's your sister, Rindle?
We had a long talk, her and I. Sister to sister. I don't think she ever truly knew how unhappy I was with my past life. Once she realized what being alchemy means to me, that's when she started to understand my perspective.
So she accepted that you're now part of the House of Reveries?
Well, I don't think she's particularly pleased about the whole affair. She's always had a dream of us becoming great mages together. She's promised to let me sort things out, though. To figure out my own path. That's all I can ask for.
Do you ever miss being a mage?
Oh, no. I doubt I'll ever be anything but a performer. I love it too much. But I may one day leave the House of Reveries. Most do. I'll have to think of a new name then, won't I? Perhaps Lillandway. Yes, I rather like the sound of that.
Tell me about joining the House of Reveries.
I've always been performing. I used to sing to my parents after dinner and put on little shows with Renaid. I loved the sound of applause, the smiles of the audience. I always knew deep down that I was born to be an actress.
Was it difficult to start a new life?
In a way, cutting off ties to my sister was troubling, but so was hiding who I truly was. I've always felt like I was meant to be someone else. Becoming alchemy wasn't without its difficulties, of course, but I'm happier now than I've ever been.
Why do you think that is?
I didn't feel comfortable with my past identity. Being a mage, being a man, it all felt wrong. But everyone in the troupe understood that. They encouraged me to become who I truly wish to be. I'm not even the first member to change my gender.
Well, Alchemy, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you again during Blackwood. Or probably, maybe even before that, if we finish Somerset before Blackwood comes out. But yeah, that is the House of Revelries quest. We do have another thing to do over, not yet. We will have another thing to do over here. We'll have to come and get a ticket for Rigger's quest. But for now, we are done with this area. There's one other quest I wanted to do today, and then we're going to go challenge that world boss. Hold on just a moment. It's a shorter quest, but it's no less morally it's no less morally challenging, and this one has no good ending. So you guys will definitely have to help me make this decision, and I will, of course, we'll have access to all the information and stuff, and you guys will get to help me make the decision on this one. But this is definitely one I wanted to have people for, because this is not the kind of quest I wanted to do by myself. So we're going to head down to that quest, and we're going to do it today on stream. And then that'll be a good time to wrap up the 100 stream with trying to solo a world boss. And also we're taking off the clothes we were wearing because we're done with those. I do regret that we didn't get a mask. Like, I really want a mask like that. I think I have one actually in my collections, but I feel like we should have gotten one as a reward. Appearance, hats. I have a Moon Shadow Wings mask, Pumpkin Spectre, Reginald's Cat mask, Renegade Dragon Priest. Yeah, I don't have like a I don't have a House of Revelries mask. I feel like we really should have gotten one for that. I think there's a...
You know, coral's just weird sack animal bones, right? So this is a bit like a cemetery, I guess. Ugh, you do not want to know what their ghosts look like. Oh, geez. I'll leave it at that.
There we go, time breach discovered. Let's go and seal it. Time breach, seal. There's, we're a third of the way done with the first set of time breaches. Who fucks up the timeline now? So there's this item that you might be familiar with, M-Sharp. It's called the Staff of Towers. Anyways, the Staff of Towers has the ability to create dragon breaks. The Master. I don't think I get that reference, I'm sorry. go ahead and pick up this quest too, because I'm gonna do it.
The plane meld is finally over.
Finally, the courier.
I'm also jealous of her tattoo.
You must acquire my materials at once. And don't think I'll compensate you for the rush, given you're the one who was late.
I'm not your courier, but what's this job you're talking about?
Oh, well, I can hardly keep track of every face I hire. An artist's work is endless. I need colors. Rich, rare, vibrant. After all, this painting will be the masterpiece of my career. I simply cannot work with mediocre shades.
What do you mean you need colors?
Reagents, ingredients, naturally, of course. I require that you gather the supplies needed to make the vivid paint this masterwork requires. Just take this list. Oh, and this tea, of course, you'll need it to acquire the first item. Now hurry along.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'll collect the materials for your painting.
I really do need you to hurry along. Inspiration could strike me at any moment, and I simply must have the perfect colors when that time comes.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Oh, of course, you're a fan. Well, I'm not surprised my popularity precedes me. I'm sure it's not every day that you meet an artist of my caliber. As long as it doesn't delay you for too long, you may ask me some questions.
Can you tell me more about your life as an artist?
From what I gather, Somerset views its artists rather differently than the rest of Tamriel. It's one of the few ways to rise above your family's station and enter the world of the elite. This masterpiece shall be my final step.
I'm not actually sure what that outfit is. It looks like the City Island tunic, which I'll show you right after after this conversation. But it's decorated differently. I think it's a unique modified version of the City Island tunic just for her. Will you become a noble or something?
Oh no. Being a renowned artist is a station all its own, and a highly respected one at that. From this generation forth, my descendants shall say my name with reverence. What more could one ask for?
And these ingredients will help you achieve this goal?
I'm known for my art, yes, but I need something to set me apart. A painting that shall hang for centuries, worshipped by those who gaze upon it. To do so, I need breathtaking, resplendent colors, vivid, powerful, emotional.
Can you tell me more about the ingredients?
Hamelin's dye produces the most gorgeous teal you'll ever see. The Yokuden tea I've given you should be a good enough trade. Brodron's bug carcasses create grays with flashes of silver. He's already received payment, so just tell him my name.
Anything else?
The Aurealis. Oh, such a glowing orange it produces. Beautiful enough to bring tears to your eyes. The flowers are rare, but I happen to know a hilltop where they still grow. I've marked all the locations for you in the note.
Before I leave, can you tell me about your life as an artist? Oh, we already asked that question. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so that's like I believe it is a modified version of... Hold on, I'll show you. It's a modified version of this one. Oh no, it's the same outfit. It's the exact same outfit. Just, it's colored differently. Yeah, that's the same outfit. Yeah, it's the City Island tunic. I didn't realize it had those little patterns on it. Huh.
Tintoria? How goes your finger painting?
Ah, very well. I see you've deigned to step out of your florid abode. Come to see how a real artist creates.
I'd enlighten you with a response, but we both know my skill speaks for itself.
Can I push him into the ocean?
Skilled at boasting. If only you had the artistic sense Auriel gave a mudhopper, you might produce something of worth.
Your tongue remains as sharp as your wits. When I'm declared the royal court's newest artist, I'll be sure to send you an invitation to dinner.
Both into the ocean.
Kind offer, though I'm sure that won't be necessary. After all, we both know that I'll be the one to acquire that position.
Honestly, I think she plans to do
Honestly, why can't you newcomers just return to your own lands?
Weren't you happier there?
I wonder what she says if you're a high elf. I wonder if she has different dialogue if you're a high elf.
Ah, another newcomer. Delightful. What exactly can I do for you?
Did you say something about the guards being attacked?
What keen ears you have. You heard us discussing a private matter from way over there. Impressive. Perhaps you can put that inquisitive nature to good use. A newcomer, much like you, is stirring up trouble here in Lilandril.
What's the problem?
A member of the Mages Guild murdered a sapiarch, but now the murderer's friend is railing against the conviction, loudly. Poke some sense into her, would you? She might listen to another guest. You'll find her outside the Fighters Guild.
I'll see if I can calm her down. Started. Lyrandil. Investigate the strange murder of a sapiarch in Lyrandil. Murder in Lyrandil. Alright, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to run to the restroom and then we will continue. Hold on just a second, guys. Okay, I have returned. Let's continue. Divine Prosecution notification, but that's just giving the daily quest. That's not anything important.
What is it?
Oh, it's a cat. Meow. Oh, did you kill a skeever? Such a good kitty.
Stay strong, Emil. I'll get you out of this.
Secure the prisoner in the Fighters Guild. Off you go.
You're a member of the Mages Guild, aren't you? Please, you have to help me. The Sapiarchs accused one of our compatriots, my best friend, of a murder he didn't commit. They won't even consider the possibility that he's innocent.
Who did the Sapiarchs believe your friend murdered?
Another Sapiarch named Haladon. Emil arrived at the gates of Lilandril, carrying Haladon's body, and confessed to the crime. But he seemed shocked, confused. I know Emil better than anyone. He's not capable of something like this. I swear it.
If Emil confessed, why do you think he's innocent?
He's a pacifist for Mara's sake. The Sapiarch's investigation was a joke. They just took Emil at his word and handed down the sentence. Of course the local guild magister rolled over like she always does. Coward. Please, I need your help.
Alright, I'll help you investigate. Where do we start?
The Sapiarchs say Emil confessed to murdering Haladon, but he'd never murder anyone. He loved Haladon. I don't know if he's confused or disoriented, but I do know he wouldn't do it. Please, talk to Emil. Convince him to recant his confession.
What's your relationship with Emil?
Emil and I are both members of the Mages Guild chapter here in Lilandril, and students of the guild's chief diplomat, Kalawende. As for our relationship, Emil is my dearest friend. Has been since we were both in diapers.
If you can't convince him to retract his confession, why do you think I can?
I don't know if he'll listen to anyone, but I don't have a choice. The Sapiarchs and Mages Guild consider the matter settled, and they've forbidden me from speaking to Emil further. No one has forbidden you to speak to him. You can still reach him.
Who are the Sapiarchs?
An order of high elf scholars and mages. They walk the halls of power here in Somerset, observing and advising. Of course, there's a thin line between advising and ruling by proxy. They're not over fond of us guild mages. They think we're reckless.
Are you? Reckless, I mean?
To the Sapiarchs, Stepping in puddles is reckless. Not folding your linens is reckless. By their standards, my 90-year-old grandmother is wild as a foal in springtime. No, the guild values new ideas, novel approaches, but it's far from reckless.
What can you tell me about Haladon, the murdered Sapiarch?
He and Emil were very close. If you'd asked me before all this happened, I'd have wagered that one or the other was shopping for a Ring of Mara. They had common interests, but more than that, they had common values. Gods, what a tragedy.
What were their common interests?
Restoration magic, wards against disease and curses, that sort of thing. They'd been researching ways to prevent lycanthropy, vampirism, and other afflictions. You see, the Emil I know dedicated his life to healing people, not murdering them.
You don't think this could have been a lover squirrel?
Absolutely not. Emil's gentle as a lamb, and Haladon didn't have a conniving bone in his body. The tension between the guild and the Sapiarchs weighed on them a bit, but not so much that it would drive them apart. Like I said, Emil is innocent.
Alright, let's go and talk to Emil.
I don't have anything to say to you or anyone else. Please, go.
Emil, I'm here to talk to you about Haladon's murder. Did you really kill him?
Yes.
I have no idea how to say her name. Vivienne? Or Vivienne? Or... Vivienne? Believes you are innocent. She says you would never kill anyone.
She's wrong.
I decided to investigate Haladon's murder. You need to tell me what happened.
What? No. They already did an investigation. I murdered Haladon. Why are you inserting yourself into matters that don't concern you?
Vivian.
I murdered a Sapiarch. I accept responsibility and my punishment. Go away. I don't want your help.
Breton names are so weird.
You there? Why are you interrogating Emil?
Hello, Kalawin.
I am Kalawende, Chief Diplomat of the Mages Guild. I apologize for my tone. This has been a trying time. The Sapiarchs consider this matter closed, you know. What are you doing exactly? Who sent you? Our interests may align.
I've never seen a Vivian spelled like that before, though, Joe. That's a very unusual spelling for the name Vivian, at least in my opinion. Or at least in my experience, anyways. I've never seen anyone's actual name spelled like that before. Vivian asked me to speak to Emil. She believes he didn't murder Haladon.
Vivine.
Or Vivine is how it's pronounced.
Something odd as well. The Sapiarchs have made it very difficult for me to intervene directly. Perhaps you can help. Emil met a shady merchant named Galador prior to the murder. That's very out of character for him.
What sort of dealings did Emil have with Galador?
That's what I came here to find out. But it seems Emil doesn't want to talk. Galador has deep connections to Lilandril smugglers and thieves. If you learn what Emil purchased from Galador, we might gain some insight into Haladon's murder.
Alright, I'll look into this business with Galador. Where should I start?
Galador stores his business ledger in one of the inn's larger suites. Unfortunately, he placed an X on the book, making it impossible to read without a passphrase. If you discover the passphrase, you should be able to learn what Emil purchased.
Alright, I'll learn the passphrase and investigate the ledger.
My contacts tell me that Galador left the city on business. Goodness knows what kind. No one will accost you while you investigate. Just be careful. It cannot become known the Mages Guild is investigating this matter after the Sapiarchs forbid it.
What can you tell me about Amin's friend?
She is tenacious. She often volunteers to help others. You won't find a more zealous advocate for the Mages Guild's goals and mission. In truth, I've never had a greater pupil, aside from Emil, of course.
How is Emil being more talented?
In my experience, people use talent as an excuse for idleness and lack of effort. Emil and Vivine both enjoy great natural ability, but Emil's focus on restoration magic indicates purer motives. He also works harder than anyone I know.
Why haven't you looked into this matter yourself?
Truthfully, I'd love to. But as a diplomat, I don't have that luxury. The Sapiarchs consider the matter settled, and officially, our Mages Guild has accepted their ruling. I have a duty to preserve our relations with the Sapiarchs.
So Haladon's murder has caused tensions between the Mages Guild and Sapiarchs?
It has exacerbated tensions that already exist. The Sapiarchs see this murder as evidence of our negligence. Members of the Guild resent it, so we're caught in something of a downward spiral.
Let's see, is there anyone else who might shed light on the murder?
Yes, the guard who found Emil, Milleron. The Sapiarchs classified him as a Ryazen, a critical witness. Anyone with close ties to Emil is forbidden to speak with him, but not you. I'll find out where they've hidden Milleron. You look into Galador.
Okay, so let's go look into this. Oops, did I just jump on a cat? No.
Clap hands and pray. Our ancestral land, our love.
Open the ledger. The contents of the ledger swim behind an obscuring word. Reciting the passphrase might make the ledger readable. Mischief for money. Let's see, what did Amin bought? 1 keg of sheep's blood, paid. Alchemical syringes, set of 5, paid. Okay, that's a strange thing to buy. A pint of sheep's blood and alchemical syringes, huh?
Over here. I trust you were successful. My own inquiries were fruitful. I've learned where we must go next in this investigation. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Did you manage to break Galador's wards? What did you find?
Yes, Amin purchased a keg of sheep's blood and several alchemical syringes from Galador.
Honestly? What would Emil want with sheep's blood? And syringes? I'd suspect blood magic or chemical addiction if I didn't know Emil. Neither of those items are illegal. He must have bought them from Galador to keep the purchase a secret.
So what now?
I'll try to figure out what Emil wanted with these items. Meanwhile, I found the guard who arrested Emil, Millerant. I'm forbidden to speak to him, but you are not. The Sapiarchs moved Millerant to Lilandril's docks. Find out what he knows.
Very well, I'll go immediately.
What?
Come everyone, the game is afoot.
Welcome to Lilandril. Just off the boat. Lots of sailors coming and going. Just don't forget to submit your shipping manifests to the harbor master. Unless there's something else you need.
I'm looking into Haladon's murder. Can you tell me what happened when Amin came back to the city?
Sad business, that. I was at my post when I saw Emil with a body slung over his shoulder. Once he reached the gate, he slid Haladan's corpse onto the ground and collapsed. He just knelt there sobbing, saying, "I killed him over and over."
How did he strike you? Coherent, remorseful?
He didn't seem mad, if that's what you're asking. But he wasn't lucid either. When it comes to murderers, I've met more than my fair share. So you can trust me when I say Emil's no murderer. He might have killed Haladan, but it wasn't on purpose.
Any idea where Emil and Haladan were prior to the murder?
Look, you need to promise me you'll keep this to yourself. Saltbreeze Cave is just south of here. Well-worn entrance, wizard's tools scattered about. I tried to tell the Sapiarchs about it, but your answers are in that cave. Guaranteed.
What do you know about this Saltbreeze Cave?
This business with Emil was just too odd. Once the Sapiarchs convicted him, I had to find the truth of it. I took my coursing hound, Othelus, down to the gate and had him follow Haladan's blood trail. It led right to the mouth of that cave.
You didn't go in?
No, Saltbreeze has a sour reputation. It used to be a popular haunt for the city youth to drink, sing, fornicate, that sort of thing. Then we lost a pair of lovebirds in a salamander attack. It's been abandoned ever since. At least we thought so.
You said the Sapiarchs refused to investigate?
Of course they did. They'd already declared Emil guilty of the murder. Can't lose face over something like this. You got a confession, Milleron, just let it go. They're just anxious to be done with this whole affair.
You saw Haladan's body. What do you think happened to him?
That's the other thing. Haladan looked like he'd been thrown off a cliff. Legs broken, blood leaking out of his ears, collapsed ribcage. You tell me how a wiry Breton could do that to someone. It doesn't make a whit of sense.
He's a powerful mage. Maybe some kind of spell?
Unless he can conjure up a stone club the size of an ox yoke, I just can't imagine it. I'll tell you to examine the body yourself, but the Sapiarchs already burned it. Convenient.
How do you know about this? Oh, I already asked about that. Okay. Alright, let's head over to the seaside, to Saltbreeze Cave. Yeah, the Sapiarchs were trying to sweep this business under the rug is what they were doing. I think even the Sapiarchs were aware that this smelled weird. All right. Wait, what happened? One of my objectives just progressed. What? That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that, because that shouldn't have happened. I should be going back to Artaeum. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Oh, well, we're gonna have to kill somebody. Man, the first time I did this quest, I really struggled against her. She was actually really tough. Well, what do we have here?
There? Please don't hurt me. I mean you no harm. Emil, is that you? Where is Haladon? Is he all right?
My name is Reewish Leftesh. I'm afraid Haladon is dead and Amin was arrested for his murder.
Auriel, forgive me. Please listen carefully. Emil did not murder Haladon. I swear it. The two of them only sought to help me. I suffered from a mysterious affliction. Haladon and Emil infected me with vampirism to halt the disease's progress.
Vampirism? Did you kill Haladon?
Gods, no! I came here with my companion Gerwadel. By the time we arrived, her illness was terminal. Emil tried to administer the cure to her too, but she broke free and attacked Haladon. There was so much shouting. I thought maybe they escaped.
If your companion murdered Haladon, why is Amin taking the blame?
Stone abominations. Vampiric alchemy. If the Sapiarchs found out that Haladon had a hand in this tragedy, they would strike his name from the histories. Emil would never let that happen. Read Haladon's notes, you'll see the truth of it.
So Amin would sacrifice himself to protect Haladon's memory?
Absolutely. Haladon and Emil loved each other deeply. It was obvious from the moment I arrived. Emil would never let something he did jeopardize Haladon's reputation. Were their roles reversed, Haladon would do the same thing. Guaranteed.
Is Haladon's reputation really that important?
I don't think you understand the Sapiarchs. It wouldn't be a simple matter of not praying over Haladon's grave. They would expunge his memory entirely. Every discovery he made, every scholarly paper, everything. It would be like he never existed.
Would telling the truth put you at risk?
Undoubtedly. The Sapiarchs would probably dispatch a few vampire hunters to find me. But don't worry about that. I'll find a way to take care of myself.
Has becoming a vampire cured you?
I believe so. The fog is gone. The flop sweats and sleepless nights with dreams of blood and stone. But the cost was high. Too high. Poor Haladon. And now there's the hunger.
The hunger?
Yes. I can feel it creeping up the back of my throat. That thirst. It was just a tickle at first. Now, who knows how far it will go? Emil brewed this form of the virus alchemically. Maybe this will pass and I won't need to feed it all. I can hope.
Do you plan on drinking innocent people's blood?
Never. Enough people have suffered on my account. Anyway, how would I find them? The shale skin disease claimed my sight before Emil had the chance to administer the treatment. I will find a way to survive without harming others. You have my word.
How do you plan on getting out of here if you can't see?
My new condition does have a few benefits. My senses are keener now than they've ever been. I can hear the flutter of a moth's wings and smell lichens in the next room. It's enough. It will have to be enough.
Tell me about the affliction they were treating.
They called it osteochondritic fever. A rare virus that hardens the skin like stone and oyster shell. And as if that weren't bad enough, it also drives you insane. Gerwadel had already succumbed to the madness when she attacked Haladon.
How did you and Gerwadel contract it?
We were part of a merchant fleet that got blown off course. Wound up beached on an island full of slowed mischief. Something in the air there. Or perhaps the water. All of us were infected. So far as I know, I'm the only one that survived.
Why would Halidon risk all this?
Truthfully, because he was the kindest, most generous mayor I've ever known. We were childhood friends, you see. When I wrote to him about my condition, he didn't even hesitate. He just bid me come to Lilandra, no questions asked.
So she was the childhood friend of Haradon, and just like Vivine was the childhood friend of Emile. Let's read this. At long last, my dear friend Norsay arrived in Lorendal. Amine and I spirited her away at once. I hastily assembled a lab in the bowels of Saltbreeze Cave, away from prying eyes. I fear that if my fellow Sapiarchs see her condition, they will simply quarantine her until it's too late. She brought a friend with her, a wiry elf named Gerwerdle. I fear this woman may be too far gone. She paces constantly, often muttering to herself. Already dark, rigid spots appear on her chest and arms. I will try to slow the degree's progress, but my first priority remains Norsay. She was a friend to me when no one else was. Now I finally have the opportunity to return that kindness. I hope we're not too late. Amine and I brewed up a powerful anesthetic for Gerwerdle's stone grows, but it's a palliative measure at best. Her behavior grows more erratic with each passing day. Despite Norsay's protests, we had to isolate her in one of our restraining chambers. None of our curatives seemed to have any effect on Norsay's symptoms. Amine and I worked in concert day and night. Honestly, I don't know what I'll do without Emile, or I don't know what I'd do without Emile. It's only his love and attention that makes the long nights and constant failures bearable. I thought we had it. Emile and I combined Nernroot condensate with a number of lesser reagents to create a highly focused stone-shaping elixir. We thought with breaking up the curative masses accumulating beneath the skin might halt the disease's progress. Instead, we seem to have simply broken the masses into smaller shards, encouraging a more rapid rate of spread. I'm at my wit's end. We may be too late. Amine has an idea. I hate to commit it to paper. Our test on curative growth indicated that they spread through a vascular transmission. The disease converts elements of the blood into rigid grains that accumulate in the veins that just beneath the skin, then calcify into larger and larger growths. It's the blood. The sickness is in the blood. Once we arrived at that crucial insight, Amine suggested he might have a solution. Porphyric hemophilia, better known as vampirism. I was aghast at the idea, but I trust his models. Vampirism, as we understand it, drastically alters blood compensation. Theoretically, this reconfiguration could make it possible for the characteristic growths to form. We won't be able to restore Nosea's eyesight, but we could very well halt the disease in its tracks. I must think on this. After long consideration, I've decided to proceed with Amine's plan. I have appraised Norsea of all the details, and she agreed to go through with it. Now it's just a matter of reproducing the vampiric infection alchemically. The Sapiarchs would never approve of such a gambit, but I promised Norsay we would cure her. Sometimes traditions must make way for frightening innovation. We successfully completed the procedure. Norsay reacted predictably to the introduction of the vampiric affliction. As far as we can tell, our treatment was a success. We've seen no expansion of curative growths, and her mental function seemed totally restored. I told Amine that we must administer the treatment to Gerwerdle too. He seems very concerned about it, but I can't deny such a treatment to someone who, just because they are dangerous. I will give her the injection tonight. Magnus, help me. Hopefully the other ones are not as long as that. To Haradon, my dearest friend. How good it feels to write you again. I apologize for the long gaps in our correspondence. The Trade Ministry set an aggressive schedule when Queen Irene set out her decree, leaving me little time for personal matters. I've spent most of the last month at sea. Now it comes to it, I must share some ill news with you. I recently found myself stranded on a remote island for a few days, the results of gross negligence on our navigator's part. Everyone who set foot on that cursed island, including me, contracted a horrifying illness, a fatal illness that turns the skin to stone and drives sufferers to lunacy. Even now I can feel my joints stiffening and my mind wanders constantly. I wish to see you one last time before the sickness claims my body and mind. Will you see me? I can reach Lurendale by month's end. I hope to hear from you soon. Most sincerely, Norsay. Dear Norsay, my heart breaks at this dreadful news. You must come to Lurendale at once. The Sapiarchs have ample resources. I promise you we will cure this affliction no matter the cost. I've met someone. His name is Emil, and he possesses a rare gift when it comes to the arts of healing and restoration. Maybe between the three of us we will find a way to restore your good health. I swear it. Please hurry. If anyone else suffers the same affliction, bring them too. Your dear friend, Haladon.
Hurry to Lilandril. Prove Emil's innocence. I'll find my way. Somehow.
Okay. So she has directly asked me to prove Emil's innocence. Emil doesn't, as you'll see when we get there, Emil doesn't want to be proved innocent. Because he doesn't want Haladon's name stripped from the book. But Haladon's oldest friend is asking for Emil to be proven innocent. Emil's oldest friend is asking for him to be proven innocent. So, we have a moral quandary on our hands, everyone. Do we allow Emil to take the fall and Haladon's memory and works be preserved, which is all that Emil has left to remember his lover by? Or do we do we honor the wishes of Norisei and Emil's friend and prove his innocence so that he can be a free man? There'll be a bit more context and stuff when we get back to the Fighters Guild, but this is something that I wanted you guys to go ahead and think about, because this is the decision we're going to have to make. So Haladon would want Emil to go free, so he goes free. That's one vote for freeing Emil. Like I said, there's a bit more conversation when we get inside, so. Emil.
You again. I told you, I don't want to talk about this. I'm guilty.
I meant Norisei, Emil.
What? No. No, you're mistaken.
She told me what happened. Her infected companion killed Haladon.
No. You can't believe her. She's lying. I attacked Haladon. I killed him. You're making this up. No one will believe it.
I know you infected Norisei with vampirism. I have Haladon's notes.
No. Please, you must burn those notes. If the Sapiarchs learn what Haladon and I did, he'll be ruined. Disgraced. All his work will be for nothing. And Norisei. Mara, save me. Poor Norisei. They'll kill her. Please, you must keep this a secret.
I need to think about this. So we have two people to talk to. First, we're going to talk to Caldo.
Poor Emil. He meant well. But these are shocking revelations. I never thought he'd be so reckless. Creating a potion to deliberately infect someone with vampirism? By the eight. If this gets out, the Sapiarchs may never trust us again.
You'd let Emil go to prison to cover this up?
I care for Emil, but I have a whole guild to consider. We've brought many outsiders to Somerset, and our relations here are tenuous at best. Even if Emil didn't murder Haladon, creating a potion this hazardous is still grounds for exile.
What will happen to Emil if I suppress this evidence?
I spoke to Sapiarch Saratarel. If Emil makes a full confession, the Sapiarchs will let us handle the details of his imprisonment. I've arranged for Emil to return to Stormhaven. A familiar setting, sympathetic guards. It's the best I can do.
Will he ever go free?
No. But then, there are many forms of freedom. Wouldn't you agree? Emil will have access to our vast library and ample opportunity to write and publish. He can still play a vital role in the advancement of the arcane arts. You have my word.
Yep. That's why I said it's a moral quandary. It's not an easy one.
By Magnus, if what you say is true, Emil's innocent. You seem hesitant. Don't get bogged down in the details of his experiments. The important thing is that he didn't murder Haladon. You have to take this to the Sapiarchs.
You aren't worried the Sapiarchs might try to kill Haladon's friend, Norisei?
She's a vampire. I grew up in Shornhelm, and I know how dangerous they are. They drink people's blood for Mara's sake. Look, I pity Norisei, but we can't destroy Emil's life over one bad decision. Setting a vampire free is reckless. You know that.
What about the damage to Haladon's reputation in the Mages Guild?
Haladon's dead. And if he truly loved Emil, he would gladly suffer humiliation to keep his beloved out of prison. You know that. As for the guild endures. We'll be fine. Just do the right thing.
Alright, it's decision time. Do we go to the Sapiarchs? Or do we allow Emil to go to prison and spend out the rest of his days with access to books and papers and pretty much probably the same thing he's going to do even if he's free, to be honest. But it's a moral quandary. It's like, because Norisei has a say. Let's have a seat and talk it out. Everyone here has a legitimate say in this. Amin has a say. His friend has a say. The guild master has a say, although I don't really care about her say that much. Norisei has a say, and Norisei wanted him to be free, and she said Haladon would want him to be free. So I got Joe's changing his vote to let Emil take the fall. Does anyone else in the chat want to vote? Answer me this. Would Emil being free actively provide more tangible benefit to society than him being cooped up in a dungeon library? Honestly, I don't believe so. I believe it would be exactly the same. The only real difference is that he would be free to choose to go where he wishes and do what he wants to do, compared to being trapped in a cell most of the time. So honestly, I don't think I think while this is a moral quandary, I don't think ultimately in the long run this will make a difference to the world if he goes to prison or not. Yeah, freedom and the memory of the dead or the life of a vampire. Well, see, now if he gets freed, the vampire's life could be forfeit. She said she would try to escape. She said she would try to get away and survive, even if we told him about it. So her death is not guaranteed. She could have gotten away. There is nothing that confirms that she actually dies because of this decision. So just let me put that out there. There's never been any kind of indication whether she dies or not because of this decision. But if you allow him to take the fall, Norisei definitely will survive because no one will know about her, unless she goes after her. But I don't think she'll do it. I don't think she'll do it. So there's really no way to know because especially if she intends to be someone that Zoss intends to bring back later. Would this reveal something impact relationships with the Mages Guild? Yes, in fact it would. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the Mages Guild gets kicked out of Somerset eventually anyways. But I don't think it's for some time. So I don't honestly know that. Eventually, the Mages Guild is going to be thrown out of Somerset. That's just something that's going to happen at some point. Okay, so I got 2 votes for take the fall. I'm gonna give it another 20 seconds. If no one else responds, then we're gonna allow him to take the fall. I honestly can't remember what I've done on all my other characters. I think my main allowed him to take the fall. No, I think my main freed him. No, I honestly don't remember. Oh, darn, this is going to bother me. I don't know if I have any way of checking and finding out either. Alright, so we're gonna let him take the fall. Emil?
There's nothing to consider. Even if I didn't kill Haladon, the vampirism was my idea. He never would have agreed to it if I hadn't pushed him. Haladon meant more to me than you'll ever know. His memory is all I have left. Don't ruin it. Please.
No. Once you complete a quest, it disappears. There's no record of how you completed the quest, unfortunately. I wish there was, but there's not. I respect your wishes. I won't share what I found with the Sapiarchs.
Oh, Mara bless you. Losing Haladon was awful. I still see his bloody face with my waking eyes. The only thing keeping me sane is the knowledge that I might spare his reputation and the friend he dearly loved. Thank you for this kindness.
I hope you find peace.
I know this wasn't easy. Condemning an innocent man to prison makes me nauseous. But sometimes sacrifices have to be made for the good.
I ought to smack you for saying that.
As odd as it sounds, I think your decision brought Emil some measure of peace. Thank you.
Sacrifices for the greater good. You really could have picked a better way to say that.
How can you condemn an innocent man to prison? He's obviously out of his mind with grief. I'd find a way to exonerate him myself if I thought anyone would listen. Damn your eyes and the Sapiarchs.
Yeah, I understand that.
You have new evidence to present? Very well. I trust your investigation was thorough and unbiased? Or rather, as thorough and unbiased as an itinerant newcomer can manage. What new evidence do you wish to enter into the official record?
I have no new evidence. Emil is guilty.
Well, that is a surprise. As farcical as your investigation might have been, I appreciate your willingness to side with the facts. It does much to restore my opinion of the Mages Guild in Lilandril.
What will happen to Emil now?
I've already spoken with the guild diplomat, Kalawende. We resolved to send Emil back to Stormhaven. Leaving a Breton to rattle around in a high elf prison would reflect poorly on all of us. Better to imprison him among his own kind.
So that's it then?
Mercifully, yes. The Mages Guild promised to imprison Emil for the rest of his brief Breton life. I have no reason to doubt their sincerity, given your honesty today. Let us put this matter behind us. The Guild and the Sapiarchs must move forward. Now, I see no reason to delay Emil's exile. I will formalize his conviction today, have him turned over to the Mages Guild shortly thereafter. This sordid affair has caused enough pain. I'll not draw it out.
What does this mean for the Mages Guild?
Your honesty and Kalawende's willingness to accede to our demands give me hope for the future. The Mages Guild suffers from all the vices of youth, but perhaps, with our help, it can grow into an organization worthy of its proud high elf heritage.
Alright, confession time. I'm almost certain that Vanus will step in on Amin's behalf at some point. Because if he's as brilliant as they say he is, Vanus Galarian's not going to let him rot in a Breton prison. I almost guarantee you that the Guildmaster will get him out of prison eventually. Vanus is not the kind of person to waste talent. Alright, so that would normally be the end of our stream, but since this is the 100th stream, we are going to do something special. We are going to go find a world boss, and we're going to try to solo it. Sure, let's try this one. Now, I'm only going to try, I'll give it 2 tries. If I can't beat it in 2 tries, we'll call the stream and end it there. Like I said, I wanted to do something special for the 100th stream, and I want to thank everyone who has watched this stream over the last 100 parts. I know it's been a long haul to get to this point, and we still have a long way to go, especially with Blackwood coming out in just a couple months. But again, I want to thank you for being here with me, and I hope you enjoy watching me struggle against one of the hardest enemies in the game. thanks to my Ring of the Pale Order, as long as he stands within my area of effects, I get health back from him, so... Yeah, no, they hit really hard. Like, if I didn't have the Ring of the Pale Order, I would already be dead. Oh, well, I died. Alright, that was attempt number 1. Let's try it one more time. Like I said, we can't get it on the second try, we'll call it. I got really close for a first attempt. Come on, why is my staff not working? Come on. I can't afford to get sloppy now. I'm so close. I forgot that I had Storm Atronach on my back bar. I got him! Woo! That was a world boss soloed, guys. 2 attempts. World boss. Alright, and that is where we're going to end the stream for this week, everyone. I want to thank you for watching if you did, or if you watch this in the future. Thank you for sticking with me for 100 parts, and I hope to see you again next week as we continue the Elder Scrolls Online Somerset DLC. Thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.